Do you know the worst betrayal you can face? It is when your friend literally throws you into hell because he sees you as the weakest one in the group, but the only mistake he made was leaving you a chance to wake up again with power, making him and everyone who betrayed you beg just for you to forgive them before you wipe them from existence. So let us start this story in the heart of a dungeon, dark and underground. A young boy woke up suddenly. His name was Hajime Nagumo. He had just regained his consciousness after a coma. He was thrown on the ground and kept asking himself if he was still alive or dead. This place was the Great Orcus Labyrinth. It seemed he fell into a spot no one could reach at all. Once he confirmed he was still alive, he started looking quickly for any path to get him out of this darkness. While walking, he met a rabbit that looked innocent, but in reality, it could kill 2 monsters in a second. As soon as Hajime understood it was dangerous, he stepped back unintentionally and fell to the ground. The rabbit noticed him. The rabbit ran at him quickly and struck him with its leg, but it hit the air. As it approached to finish him off, a huge monster suddenly appeared behind it without it noticing. The rabbit sensed danger and ran, but the monster caught it in an instant, and it became a snack in a second. Hajime, as soon as he saw the scene, ran for his life. The monster ran after him, extended its hand, cut off his left arm, and ate it in front of him. Hajime screamed in terror and started using magic to dig tunnels and place barriers to prevent the monster from getting near him. After a while of digging, his foot slipped and he fell into a cave containing a rare crystal, a stone formed from mana, dripping over the years. He seemed to be bleeding heavily and started losing consciousness. He remembered that just 10 days ago, he read information about this stone in the library of the palace. His eyes teared up from fear as he remembered the moment he saw the monster. He kept crying, screaming, and calling for anyone to save him. He remembered the day he and his classmates came to enter the labyrinth. His classmates were all skilled in combat, whereas he was weak and no one took him into account, and they always mocked him. While they were wandering in the labyrinth, they found a crystal, a strange sphere. They did not confirm if it was safe or not. One of them rushed and went up to touch it. Suddenly, a teleportation spell activated and threw them all into a hall full of monsters. The team fought the monsters with difficulty and found a way to return, but a huge monster appeared before them, and no weapon worked on it. The mission leader cast a barrier spell, but the monster shattered it with a few hits. When the situation became difficult, Hajime decided to sacrifice himself and stop the monster so the others could escape. After they all succeeded in escaping, they started firing cover fire so he could return too. The plan went perfectly, were it not that a traitor in the team shot an arrow at him. He fell from above, the bridge collapsed, and he fell to the place he was in now. On the night of the departure, his female friend went to him and told him not to go to the labyrinth. She said she saw a dream where he disappeared into the darkness, no matter how much she tried to call him. Hajime asked her if she could protect him since she was a priestess with healing powers. She promised him she would protect him, but that did not happen. Hajime in that moment was lost and broken. He wanted to die and wanted to live at the same time. He asked himself who tried to kill him and why, while the monsters outside were gnawing without mercy. After thinking, he decided that he would return no matter what happened, and that anything standing in his way, he would get rid of. Hunger and thirst were about to make him die, so he decided to eat the monsters. He opened the tunnel door and lured 2 of the monsters to fall into a pit he had prepared. He dropped rocks on them until they died. He cut them up and ate them against his will. With the first bite, his body convulsed. He started screaming and writhing. His jeans changed. His hair turned white and his eyes became red. His body grew larger. The sound he was making was terrifying. He drank water from the stone until he felt his body relaxing for the first time. He looked at himself and found he had changed completely. He looked at his stats and found they had risen in a way that was unnatural. He learned new skills from the monsters he ate, including the ability to use magic without chanting, and also to emit lightning around his body. He used it to roast the meat of the monster he hunted and started crafting a weapon for himself. He used his new skills and crafted a 6-shot revolver. The bullets were made of strong, solid stone, and each bullet contained explosive powder inside. When combined with his abilities of lightning, the bullet would shoot out at insane speed to take down the rabbit in a second. He named his gun Thunder. He ate the meat of the rabbit he hunted. When he finished, his stats increased again, and he learned new skills, including a quick step and airwalk to help him evade. These skills increased his speed and allowed him to dodge. When he understood his new abilities, he decided to take revenge on the monster that cut off his arm. He followed the blood trail, and when he arrived, he found the monster in front of him again. He started dodging with his quick step and air ability, and retaliated with his bullets that pierced stone. He had not finished his bullets yet, and was pushed very far away quickly. He threw a flash grenade at the monster. After that, he shot the monster in its arm and severed it. He bit a piece of the monster's flesh in revenge against it. The monster felt provoked and ran toward him madly. He exploited the pool of blood left after severing its arm. Hajime activated a lightning field to conduct electricity and attack the monster. It ended with a bullet entering the middle of the monster's head. Hajime reaffirmed his resolve to return and swore he would kill anyone standing in his way on the return path. After he defeated the monster, Hajime returned to his campsite and ate its meat. After a while of eating, he noticed his stats increased. Continuing to eat the monster's meat would not benefit him further. He was trying to find a way to get out, but he had no information about which floor he was standing on among the 100 floors in the labyrinth. He kept walking and exploring. The darkness was intense, so he had to take a lantern containing a glowing crystal piece to light the way. Before seeing the path clearly, Hajime met a monster resembling a lizard. Its eyes glowed, and the crystal in his hand turned to stone immediately. He was wary of the monster. He knew its power was to turn anything into stone. At the same time, this power could be nullified by the holy water he had. The monster approached quickly. Hajime seized the opportunity and threw a flash grenade at it to blind it, and then finished it with a bullet. During his journey, Hajime was killing and eating different monster meats continuously. His exploration team returned to the main city. The corps commander informed the king of the results of the journey. He reported the teleportation trap shaped like a crystal, the battle, and Hajime's sacrifice. The king heard and requested that Hajime's sacrifice not be told to the people so it would not reach the public ear. Also, it was revealed that after Hajime fell, Kaori tried to escape and go save him madly. The team leader saw her stubbornness, hit her, and knocked her unconscious. After that, the whole team left the labyrinth together. According to what the Pope said, they are divided into 3 races: humans, demons, and demi-humans. Humans and demons had been fighting for hundreds of years, but one day, the demons figured out how to control the power of monsters. This ruined the balance between the two sides, and humans were on the edge of extinction. To prevent this, the leader whom the people obey, whose name is Ahit, summoned heroes with immense power to this place. Hajime and his classmates were among the people summoned. The teacher wanted to return the whole class to the old world, but the students here wanted to participate in the fighting. Returning to the present and during training, his classmate Shizuku met Hiyama, who activated the teleportation trap by mistake. He was doing something secret. When Hiyama called her, suddenly he was startled and scared and tried to make up excuses to leave quickly. Shizuku in that moment remembered the scene where Hajime fell. She thought about their relationship before, which was not good, and suspected something quickly. But then she rejected that suspicion. On the other side, Kaori, after being in a coma for 5 days, woke up. Shizuku was very happy. After finding out Hajime did not return, Kaori tried to get up and go look for him, but Shizuku stopped her. On Hajime's side, after a long time walking, he reached a large door. It looked like the answer he was looking for was behind it. Like Pandora's box, was what lay behind it hope or despair? Hajime approached the door and noticed it was old. He intended to use transmutation to open it, but a shock ran through him. At the same time, 2 statues moved on the sides and shed the stone layer to reveal 2 large monsters with one eye, looking like guardians of the place. Hajime shot the eye of one of them immediately, and it fell to the ground instantly. The second one saw the scene and tried to block his bullets. Hajime stepped back to reload and analyzed the magic quickly. He discovered its weak point and shot it in the arm. He noticed that the monster could not move far from the door. Hajime was eager to reveal the secret hidden behind it. Then he kept shooting the monster without stopping. After a while, its defense broke. The monster tried to attack him, but Hajime dodged and shot it in the head with a bullet and killed it. When they returned to the city, Kaori calmed down a bit and started to believe that Hajime might still be alive. She promised herself to get stronger and asked Shizuku to help her. Shizuku agreed, and Kaori hugged her happily. After a period of searching, Hajime extracted 2 cores from the bodies of the monsters he killed and entered with them at the door to break the sealing spell and enter. In the middle of the room, there was a yellow floating cube. When someone entered, a voice asked who it was. The cube stopped moving and revealed a small girl with golden hair trapped inside. Hajime apologized and said he was disturbing and went to leave her. The girl asked him to stay with her, but he refused. He was convinced that she was trapped for a specific purpose and he would not save a stranger. The girl kept begging and said she was betrayed. Because of that, she was here. The word betrayal reminded Hajime of old things, so he turned to her and asked her why. She was imprisoned. She said it was because she was a powerful vampire and used to protect her people. But one day, they said she was not needed anymore, and her uncle would take control instead of her. The reason she was imprisoned was that she had a very fast healing ability and did not need any magic circle. Hajime was surprised and thought that this power broke the laws and made her almost a leader. The girl asked him again to save her, and after much thinking, he decided to free her. He exerted his power and the cube broke, and the seal disappeared gradually slowly until it broke completely. The girl held his hand and said it was warm and asked him his name. He asked her about her name, and she told him she did not need her old name and requested a new name. After thinking, Hajime decided to name her Yue, meaning the moon, because her golden hair and red eyes were like the moon in the sky. The girl was very happy and said from today her name was Yue. Suddenly, blades emerged from an unknown place. Hajime got wounded because he carried the girl. After the blades pierced his back, he poured water on his back immediately and removed the blades from his back. He blamed himself because he let his guard down and looked towards the source of the blades. It was a giant scorpion, perhaps to prevent Yue from escaping. Hajime put his jacket on the child and carried her on his back, ready to face the monster. He shot it with bullets immediately, but its armor was strong, solid, and the bullets did not penetrate. The monster retaliated by shooting poison and blades at him, but he dodged them and threw a flash grenade under its feet. The monster went crazy from the explosion and kept attacking him without stopping, but Hajime was dodging its strikes. When Hajime was thinking about how to penetrate the solid armor, Yue got down from his back, bit his neck, and started sucking his blood. The monster used its power to control the ground, but luckily, this was Hajime's specialty too. Both parties raised and lowered the ground in exchange. When Yue was full from the blood, she stood in front of the monster. She created a fireball and threw it at its head. The monster was damaged severely by the blow, and Yue also fell from exhaustion. Hajime asked her if she could do that move again. She told him it was possible, but it would be much smaller. Hajime distracted the monster, and this allowed Yue to throw the ball again at its head. When the scorpion was damaged, Hajime attacked it in the injured area and killed it. Yue was surprised why. Hajime did not leave her and run. Hajime told her she was betrayed by her comrades and entrusted her safety to him, so he could not leave her. Yue smiled. Hajime at that time was cutting the monster meat while talking to her. He said that vampires were exterminated 300 years ago, meaning now she was over 300 years old. When Yue heard her age, she got upset and called him rude. She asked him if all vampires lived like that. He told her she was special because of her healing abilities. Hajime continued to ask her if she knew a way out, but she, like him, did not know. She told him about the origin of the labyrinth. It was built by the messengers of the supreme leader who rebelled against the leader in the time of leaders and wanted to destroy the world. But they failed. They fled to the labyrinth and started living in the lower floor. Yue suggested they go down to the lower floor to find a way out. Hajime then examined the surface of the armor of the monster he killed before. The armor was absorbing mana and getting stronger, and this was the reason for its great hardness. After that, Hajime started crafting an anti-material rifle and named it Schlagen. She asked Hajime why he was down here, about his ability to control mana, why he eats monsters, and what happened to his arm. Hajime told her everything in detail, from the day he was summoned to this world to the betrayal by his classmates, eating monsters to survive, and the vow he took to return home no matter what happened. When Yue heard everything, she burst into tears. Hajime told her not to worry. He told her that all he wanted was to get strong, live, and return home. Yue felt sadness because she did not have a place to return to. Hajime felt pity for her, so he invited her to come with him. When Yue heard that, she smiled with joy. In that moment, suddenly a sound came from afar. In the capital at the time, the exploration team organized another training session in the labyrinth. The same faces from the previous trip now had determination to complete the training successfully. Returning to Hajime's group, that sound turned out to be the sound of a herd of dinosaur-like monsters running. Hajime carried Yue and ran ahead of them while they were chasing. Hajime felt annoyed because no matter how many of them he killed, they kept coming. Also, he was surprised by the flowers on their heads. Yue thought they were cute, but Hajime disagreed with her immediately. He remembered a little while ago there was a monster resembling them, but without the flower on its head that stepped on a flower guard. He suspected these flowers were a type of parasite. The two quickly hid from the monsters and went to look for the source. On the way, Yue kept sucking Hajime's blood, making him feel uncomfortable. He told her to stop because she was not tired at all. After a little searching, they reached a cave surrounded by flowers. They felt suspicious and entered the cave. The two became very cautious. A group of spores rushed at them and surrounded them. Hajime raised the ground around them and thought that this group of spores was an attack from the host. He turned back and saw Yue looked a bit strange. A flower grew on her head and she was being controlled. She started attacking Hajime continuously. Hajime kept dodging, but he accidentally hit the spores and they made him dizzy. At that moment, behind Yue, a monster appeared in the shape of a flower. It looked like the host of the parasites. It approached her and ordered her to attack Hajime. At this time, Hajime could not hit the monster, but it was using Yue as a shield. He was forced to endure the attacks without fighting back. The monster also tried to control him, but thanks to the fact that he ate monster meat, he had immunity. At that moment, Yue told Hajime to attack her. Hajime immediately did not hesitate and fired a bullet that passed by her head and hit the monster's arm. Then he shot it again in the head and finished the monster. Yue was still in shock and did not believe Hajime could shoot her. Hajime told her if he shot her without permission, she would be upset, so he waited for her approval before shooting. When Yue heard that, she got upset and doubted Hajime, and ran to him and started hitting him, but her impact was small. After that, the two stood up and ate. Hajime asked Yue if she was hungry. She told him she was hungry, but got full after drinking his blood. Also, she said she needed nutrients from food, but blood was better. Then she praised the taste of Hajime's blood and went and sucked from him again. After eating, they went down to the floor below. At this time, Hajime became very cautious. They had reached the 100th floor since he fell. The two kept walking until they reached the door. Hajime felt something exciting behind it, and they entered together inside the room. There were crystal pillars on the sides of the room. The two were very impressed by the arrangement of the room and thought this might be the hideout of the Mavericks. Hajime held her hand and walked cautiously forward. When they reached the middle of the room, a sudden vibration occurred. A summoning circle appeared suddenly, and Hajime stepped back. Immediately, he noticed the size of the circle and felt excitement and thought it might be the final boss here. The summoned creature appeared. It was a dragon with 6 heads. Each head attacks with a different element. It attacked fiercely, but Yue and Hajime dodged the hits and succeeded in taking down 3 heads. Before they rejoiced too much, the soul of the monsters healed. This ability was from the white head. They agreed they must finish this head first, but it was protected by other heads. Even their joint attack was blocked by the heads of the others. And Yue was gathering energy for a second attack. Suddenly, the black head surprised her. It used its power and made her fall into an illusion that Hajime abandoned her. Yue fell to the ground in despair. Hajime saw this and ran to help her. He carried her on his back and did not forget to return a grenade to the monster. The dragon was in pain after the explosion. Hajime exploited the opportunity, raised the ground, and created a defensive zone. He gave her water to cancel the illusion. Yue was very happy when she saw Hajime again and was afraid of being left again. Hajime did not say anything, but gave her hope that they would defeat the monster and get out together. Yue was very happy with these words and nodded her head. When Hajime saw there was no other way to finish the monster, he decided to use his anti-material rifle and asked Yue to help him because she could hit multiple heads at once. Yue agreed with all joy. She used a group of skills to hit all the heads. The black head returned and controlled the illusion. Then he went back to shooting the monster with bullets. Hajime reached the anti-material rifle and fired 1 bullet that took down 3 heads immediately. The remaining 3, Yue finished them quickly. Hajime noticed that Yue was very tired. He went to her, but there was still 1 head. This head directed its attack at them, and Hajime saw this and stood in front of her to protect her. After he took a hit, Hajime fell to the ground and blood was flowing. The anti-material rifle broke and turned to dust. Yue ran to his side and used her skill to protect him from the monster's continuous attacks and carried him to a safe place. She gave him holy water for healing, but it was not enough. Yue saw that, held his hand, and stood in front of Hajime to protect him. But the bullet could not penetrate the monster's hard armor. Hajime attacked it again and knocked her far away. She tried to reach the rifle and started crying while seeing Hajime still sleeping. The monster attacked again. Everything was going to be lost, but no. Hajime woke up and saved her. Hajime calmly dodged the attacks while approaching the monster. He felt that its attacks became very slow and thought that this implied that Hajime became faster and could dodge easily. Hajime at this moment asked Yue to suck his blood. He needed her magic to win this battle. Yue agreed happily and sucked his blood. Hajime remembered the moment he woke up, wondering if he really wanted to leave her or not. When he saw her suffering, something inside him moved. A new skill activated. He asked her to gather energy to attack while he advanced to distract the monster. He kept hitting the ceiling, made holes, and put grenades in them. The grenades exploded, and the ceiling fell and crushed the monster. After that, he transmuted the rocks into sharp spikes and pinned the monster under them. Finally, a finishing blow from Yule. The monster burned immediately from the power of the attack. The two were exhausted after the battle and fell to the ground. In the capital, the teachers criticized when the Pope wanted his students to continue fighting, even though one of their friends died a little while ago. Facing the teachers' threat of non-cooperation, the Pope asked not to pressure anyone who did not want to fight. At the same time, on the 60th floor of the labyrinth, the exploration team was resting there. They were looking for a way to descend to the deeper floors. Kaori was very sad after losing Hajime, but her classmates encouraged and comforted her. Quickly after this battle, Hajime fell into a coma. When he woke up, he found himself in a room. He wondered why there was a room in the labyrinth. At that moment, he noticed he was being hugged by Yue and both were naked. He tried to wake her, but did not succeed. Seeing that, he used an electric shock to wake her up. Yue was able to dodge it. After a little searching, they reached an old dwelling. Yue told him she searched around it, but there were many rooms she could not open. Hajime told her not to drop her guard. They approached a bath outside the mansion. Yue said she wanted to bathe with him, but Hajime refused completely, and this made her pout in anger. After that, they entered the mansion. After a little searching, they discovered that the library and workshop on the second floor were were locked, so they decided to go up to the third floor. On the third floor, there was only one room. They entered inside. The crystal lit up the place. In the middle, there was an old throne, and sitting on it was a skeleton. In the middle of the room, there was a magic circle that looked like the key to exit to the surface. Hajime noticed that. His transmutation ability did not work here, so he asked Yue to support him if anything happened. Then he entered the circle, and it immediately lit up. Many memories from his past appeared. After the light faded, the spirit of the skeleton appeared. Hajime was about to draw his gun to defend himself, but saw the spirit did not intend to attack him, so he relaxed greatly. The spirit introduced itself as Oscar Orcus, the one who created this labyrinth. He congratulated Hajime because he passed the labyrinth test. Unfortunately, it was just a recording, so Hajime could not ask anything. The reason for the existence of the recording was to share why someone knew the truth about the world and decided to fight against it. At the same time, the exploration team descended to floor 65, the deepest place humans had reached before. It seemed they had become very strong. They returned to the previous area, where the giant monster from before met them. Now it returned, but now they were different. They became stronger and had the determination not to lose anyone else. Through coordination and arranging the formation, the team cut a horn from the monster, and the monster got angry when it lost the horn. The monster headed back towards the healers, but they defended with shields and seized the opportunity. The whole team attacked and defeated the monster. Returning to Hajime's group, Oscar expressed his desire to transfer his power to Hajime and told him not to use it for evil. He told him that he would disappear. Hajime suddenly felt severe discomfort. Something was being imprinted inside his brain. He sat for a moment. The magic circle disappeared. Hajime quickly returned to normal. He said that he did not care about the fate of the world or anything else. All he wanted was to return home. He walked, clenched his fist, and told him that he was his own master and did not care about anything else. It became clear that Hajime learned ancient magic called creation magic. This magic allowed him to add energy to raw minerals and turn them into special shapes. Hajime expressed his desire for him to teach him this magic. Oscar agreed. They stayed studying from morning to night, but it was still very hard to use it proficiently. After that, they buried Oscar's corpse. After a while, they found a way to escape. The magic circle was connected to the surface, but to activate it, they needed Oscar's ring. At this moment, Oscar showed him another book indicating that Hajime needed to go to other labyrinths to collect other ancient magic to be able to return home. The two used the ring to open the workshop room on the second floor. Hajime expressed his desire to stay here to learn more. The next day, Hajime had a new arm. He became skilled in crafting different things. After a preparation period, the two started getting ready to ascend to the surface. After they prepared psychologically, they agreed they would defeat the whole world and protect each other. The circle lit up and they started their journey to the surface. At this time, a girl with blue hair and rabbit ears appeared suddenly. It seemed she was waiting for someone. Suddenly, a two-headed dinosaur came behind her. She ran in fear, crying and screaming for help. Suddenly, she saw the magic circle, and from it emerged Hajime and Yue. The dinosaur was startled by their appearance and ran away. The rabbit girl, on the contrary, was very happy when she saw them. It seemed the person she was waiting for was these two. While Hajime and Yue were still rejoicing at their arrival to the surface, the girl approached them. Hajime was about to move away to avoid trouble, but the girl ran and stood in front of him. Unfortunately, this made her fall to the ground. The two continued walking, but she held onto Hajime's leg and asked him to save her family. Hajime grabbed her ears to pull her away, but she thought if they did that, they would toss her aside. Hajime said that was obvious. Why did he need to save a rabbit he did not know? The girl felt that was not enough, so she started crying and begging Hajime. At that moment, the two-headed dinosaur returned. It feared Hajime and roared in his face, making him annoyed. The rabbit girl quickly stopped him and told him to run because it was very dangerous. But Hajime pulled his gun and fired 2 bullets into the 2 heads. Before she could recover from the shock of seeing the dinosaur defeated easily, the rabbit girl was kicked by Hajime to let go of his leg. She introduced herself as Sha and was the eldest daughter of the Howlia beast tribe. Once again, she asked Hajime and Yue to help her protect her family. No matter how much they tried to remove her, even if they threatened her with a weapon, she did not want to let go of Hajime. She said if she did not do so, the future of her tribe might face extinction. Hajime at that moment calmed down and decided to listen to her. Then the girl grabbed Hajime's clothes and wiped her face, which angered Hajime, so he hit her. She said Hajime was cruel because he hit a small and beautiful girl like her. He said she did not know her limits and that Yue was much better than her. This made Yue very proud. It seemed her desire for punishment was still present. Shay felt she was not less than Yo and that she had higher physical strength while Yue was like a wall. When Hajime noticed her words crossed the line, she apologized to Yo immediately, but it was too late. Yo hit her hard. After that, she started telling everything, saying she was displaced from her home and attacked by monsters. Although beastmen are not able to control mana, for some reason she was able to, and she could could also use special magic that only monsters use. This magic was called Future Sight. It allowed her to see branches of the future, and this was the reason she knew Hajime and Yue would appear here. She once again asked the two to save her homeland, but Hajime refused and summoned his motorcycle to leave. She said she foresaw that Hajime would help her, but he thought he would gain nothing. She asked them if they were going to the Great Tree in the Sea of Trees. The place was always covered in thick fog that confused the senses, so it would be better to have a local guide. Yue, when she heard this, told Hajime to bring her with them because having a guide was better than finding the way by themselves. Shay rejoiced and ran to hug her, but Yue stopped her. At this time, in the depths of the forest, the tribe of the Red Rabbit was hiding from flying dragons. A child from the tribe went out without caution and was about to be caught by monsters, but luckily Hajime's group arrived and saved the girl. This was Shaya's tribe. At that time, Hajime had an idea. He threw Shaya into the sky at the dragons, while he finished them off from the ground. The plan went quickly, and one fell before the bullets of Hajime. She fell from above, and her head spun. At night, she started talking about herself because she was using the same energy source as monsters. Her fate was twisted, and she was going to be killed by other monsters. Her father and the tribe left their home to protect her, but the tribe was not able to protect itself, so they asked for help from outside. That night, she felt happiness seeing everyone in the tribe sleeping peacefully. She expressed her gratitude to Yue and Hajime, but he told her she did not need to do that because they were just following the agreement to protect her, and she would guide them to their destination. Shaya asked Hajime about his goal, and he had only one goal, which was to return home with her. When she heard this, she decided to come with them on the journey. The next day, the villagers came to her asking for their help to become stronger, but they were very weak. Not only could they not defeat small monsters, but they also got distracted easily by flowers. Hajime was annoyed and told them to go hunt monsters madly, otherwise he would kill them. Yue and Shaya were fighting. She was able to scratch Yue. At that time, Hajime came to them. She boasted about her achievement, and Yu noticed she specialized in physical power. She asked once, again to come with them on the journey. Hajime asked her why she wanted to come with them. She hesitated a bit, then said because she wanted to be beside him and wanted Hajime. This surprised Hajime and Yue. On the other side, the villagers were going to hunt monsters because of Hajime. They all became bloodthirsty after the hunt. To express their gratitude, they took Hajime and Yue to the Great Tree. Although it died a long time ago, the tree was not rotten. It was still standing after all these years. Hajime at that moment found a stone tablet that opened the way to a second labyrinth. He put Oscar's ring in the empty slot on the tablet, and a message appeared. The message said the door would open only for people who had the symbols. The four: power, regeneration, and guidance formed from bonds. It indicated that they needed to clear the 4 labyrinths to collect enough ancient powers to open the door. Hajime bid farewell to the villagers, but they said they wanted to come with him. He told them to train because he might need their power next time he came here. Shay, at that moment, remembered when she was young. The evil rumors and the fear that she would turn into a monster scared her very much. Every time like that, her mother was there to encourage her. Her mother gave her motivation that one day she would meet someone like her outside. She understood that this person was Hajime because of the promise in the duel. Yue made her come with them. Hajime told her she could come, but he would not respond to anything from her. When Hajime noticed he could not stop this determination, he was forced to accept that she come with them. After a long time of traveling, Hajime's group stood at a cliff. It appeared the entrance to the labyrinth was somewhere in the Raisin Gorge. Shea at that moment asked to go to the bathroom. Yuo and Hajime continued discussing the next route. Suddenly, she discovered a small passage in the cliff wall. The three entered inside the passage. It welcomed them and said to them, "Welcome to the very fun Milady Raisin Labyrinth," based on Oscar's notes. Yuo confirmed that this was the labyrinth. The two did not know how to proceed. She found a hidden path behind a stone wall. They entered quickly and survived the traps. Here for her, it appeared she did not have time to go to the bathroom before, so she was very embarrassed. The stone tablet next to them at this time displayed text saying if they were afraid. Then Shay took out the hammer Hajime made for her and hit the stone tablet, but unfortunately, the tablet repaired itself after a while. Hajime thought that Milady Raisin did not care about liberating the army. She was a disaster for humanity. When she heard this, she agreed with him. The three continued inside. They passed a narrow corridor, and Hajime accidentally stepped on a trap. A rock fell in front of them, and they could not use magic here. Hajime then pulled his gun and shot the rock, and small rocks scattered, but Shay pushed them away. They continued to pass the rest of the traps, from saws to ropes. Strange things fell from somewhere and stuck. This sound kept provoking them. After they went in circles, they returned to the original room. After a period of wandering, they finally reached Milady's hideout. Hajime at that moment felt uncomfortable with the armors in the room. He praised her endurance and told her to enter the room and work freely, and they would support her if anything unexpected happened. Shea, when she heard the praise, got excited. The three entered inside together. As expected, the armors started moving and attacking them, but they passed quickly and continued to the end of the room. Shea Shea opened the next door. It was a room with floating blocks. They jumped on a block, then reached the middle of the room. Waiting for them was a large monster wearing full armor. He greeted them and said he was Milady Raisin. Hajime asked who this was. He was surprised because Milady Raisin was a human and died a long time ago. The monster was surprised he passed Oscar's labyrinth. He confirmed again he was Milady Raisin. He asked Hajime about his ultimate goal and why he wanted the ancient magic. Hajime did not hesitate and said his ultimate goal was to return home and that he was looking for ancient magic to travel between two worlds and did not want to sacrifice his life for this world. He asked if the magic here was what he was looking for. The monster refused to answer the question. After that, Hajime took out his gun and fired a missile at the monster. Shea then threw her hammer at him, but the monster blocked it with both hands. When Hajime saw the opportunity, he got close to him and hit directly on the shield. The attack looked perfect, but it barely had any effect. At this moment, from above, cubes fell on them. Hajime carried the other two and tried to dodge the impacts. When Milady sensed they failed, she felt disappointed, but Hajime appeared again, occupying the monster's attention so Yue could attack it from behind, without giving it time to regenerate. After that, Hajime struck again and made the monster fall to the ground. Yue seized the opportunity, froze it, and pulled it hard. Hajime pulled the drill but still could not penetrate this thick armor. His magic was weak here. At this moment, Shea appeared and hit the drill and succeeded to penetrate the armor and embed into the monster's heart. The monster stopped moving instantly. Shea also received praise from Hajime. Yo was very relieved and expressed her fears. At this moment, the monster spoke again. Milady used her last power to speak to them. In truth, this was a warning that one day he would face the leaders who summoned him here, and that one day he would be the killer of leaders. Milady said these words along with a prayer for luck. She told him to live as himself because his decision was safer for this world. She also said her soul faded and to the next door. A small person met them and said he was Milady. Shea was hurting from her words. Hajime's group was very annoyed. Shea could not control herself and was about to hit her. At this time, Hajime's group took the gravity magic, but because Hajime and Shea needed a higher level to use it, at the same time, Yue was very proficient with this magic. If she trained hard, she would be able to use it soon. Milady handed her ring to Hajime. Hajime felt it was not enough and asked about the pile of old documents there like a thief. When Milady noticed how scary they were, she had to kick them out. She pulled a rope and water fell on them from above and pushed them out. They were pushed into a lake outside the city. Hajime got angry and threw Shea back into the lake. The three entered the city and rented a room. He said he wanted a room for the three, but the hotel only had 2 double rooms. Shea fought them to share the room with Hajime. This crazy rabbit also said something uncalculated and caused the whole hotel to be confused. Hajime saw this, pulled out his gun, and finished this rabbit. The next day, Hajime's group went to meet Ilwa, Chang, the guild master, and adventurers from Furin coming to look for them because there was a rumor in the city about a group that passed the Raisin Gorge easily. Even if Hajime tried to refuse, he could not deceive Ilwa. He wanted to ask them to complete a mission. Hajime refused completely and suggested they listen to the request first, and then think about accepting or not. Hajime praised him for his intelligence. The mission was to find a person who was missing. A group of adventurers went to the northern mountains for a survey, and among them was the 3rd son of Count Kudeta. This was the person Ilwa wanted Hajime to save. It was known that the group was large, so if something happened, there would be many injured people. Hajime refused, but Ilwa offered a reward, which was full support if he had trouble with the guild. Hajime set 2 conditions. First, he must provide a status plate, and second, he must agree to all their requests. He agreed quickly, and Hajime also accepted the mission. The 3 headed to the mission location. Yue felt it was still early to move, but Hajime saw they must go quickly because they were going to a place with rice fields. Hajime was very excited because this food was a main part of their old world, and he was excited because he had not eaten it for a long time, and Yue also wanted to try it. Beside the lake, there was a village. Hajime's teacher and his classmates were also there. They taught the villagers to grow wet rice. Some students who did not want to continue fighting in the labyrinth came here to help with the work. After they finished, they all went to have dinner together. In this place, they did not need to fight anymore. The classmates and the teacher were talking happily together. During dinner, the owner of the place came and told them that these were the last ingredients. A group of monsters appeared, and a high-level adventurer group went there and did not return. Unfortunately, someone was coming to help them look for the missing people. When he finished speaking, Hajime's group appeared. The whole group noticed Hajime's presence. The teacher ran to the table and spoke to him and was very happy that he was still alive. Hajime made up an excuse that he was a boy mistaken for someone else to get away, but she stopped him. Yue saw this and told her to leave Hajime alone, and if there was something, to speak calmly. The teacher finally calmed down. She asked again if the young man in front of her was Hajime or not. Hajime at that time did not deny it. The 3 ordered food, calmly without caring about the teacher beside them. The teacher lost her patience, hit the table, and asked him. Then Shea and Yue Yue introduced themselves. When she knew Hajime was not alone just in time, the class teacher was about to criticize Hajime's lifestyle. She asked Hajime what happened to him, why his hair was white, why he lost an arm and an eye, and why he did not return to the class. Hajime answered simply that he tried to live and had no reason to return to that place, that terrible place. At that moment, Kondo came in front of Miu and told her to reconsider her behavior and respect superiors, and threatened to cut off her ears. Yue sat beside him and showed her dissatisfaction with him. The man got angry suddenly and wanted to draw his sword and attack her, but Hajime shot him once in the leg and asked him to reconsider his behavior. Hajime's classmates were surprised by the change in his personality and his way of speaking, which became different from before, and he became a more attractive person to girls. Hajime finished eating and told them he had no intention of joining the class and did not want his classmates to participate in his plan. Miu threatened to kill anyone who stood in his way. She was still holding a grudge from before. She did not expect humans to be afraid of her ears, and this upset her very much. But Yu comforted her and told her her ears were soft and cute. This raised her morale. She also exposed that Hajime often touched them while he was sleeping. This embarrassed him. After that, the three went out of the restaurant. The teacher said she would not give up on him and would return him to his classmates again. At night, the teacher felt relieved that she knew Hajime was still alive, but she could not understand where this violent behavior came from. She was determined to return him to the class. Hajime at that time was hiding and heard everything from behind the teacher. She was surprised he could enter easily, even though she locked the door. He apologized to her and said he had something to say. Hajime shared with her the reason he did not like to return to the class. He told her about the war in ancient times, about a group that rose against the war. They discovered the secret of the gods, that humans were just pawns and the war was just a game to them. This group was called the Liberators, but their plan collapsed before they faced the gods. The gods declared the Liberators as enemies of the church from hell to destroy the world and turned humanity against them. The Liberators changed their name to Mavericks and disappeared gradually. In the end, only the core members remained. When they understood they could not fight the leaders, they disbanded. They built labyrinths and hid, and whoever passed their trials would inherit the power of the Mavericks to one day stop this crazy game. Hajime told what he discovered in the labyrinth. Whether the teacher believed him or not was up to her. She asked what Hajime intended to do with the leaders. He said nothing. He just wanted to return home, and clearing the labyrinth was the key. The teacher said Kaori was still worried about him and did not believe he died. Hajime asked about the situation and learned she was still fine and training in the labyrinth. Hajime advised her to be cautious of the classmates and revealed that the fall was not an accident. It was an attempted murder. After he said everything, he left while it was still night. Hajime's group started the journey. After a while, the teacher's group stopped them. The teacher said she wanted to walk with them, but Hajime refused because she would delay him. His classmate mocked the horses, and Hajime showed them his motorcycle. The teacher ran and said she wanted to know more about what happened to Hajime. If he agreed, she would accept parting ways here. Hajime agreed. He summoned a vehicle for rough roads so they could travel together. In the morning, they reached the foot of the mountain area. Hajime was surprised when he heard that one of his classmates disappeared. He tried to comfort her that everything would be fine. The teacher at that moment leaned on him and slept. She asked Hajime if he appreciated the teacher a lot. He agreed and said because she did a lot for the whole class, so this was the least he could do. After that, they reached the search location. Hajime launched drones to locate the humans. He saw through his second eye traces of weapons, and the group went there quickly. After observing for a bit, they discovered traces of a large creature with 4 legs. There was a story about a giant monster existing between these two mountains. The group continued searching here. Hajime discovered a large waterfall. He felt the presence of humans behind it. Yue cast a spell to split the waterfall in two, and the whole group entered. Hajime quickly found the survivors after confirming that. The person was Will. They all bandaged their wounds. Will told about how his group was fought by monsters, and suddenly a black dragon appeared. Will felt guilty because he survived, and his colleagues sacrificed themselves. Hajime grabbed Will and asked him what the problem was with staying alive. The desire for life and happiness is what defines a human. He told him he is allowed to think like that, and if he was worried about those who died, he should just live. One day, he would find the reason for his survival and return. The group started returning to the village. Suddenly, a sound came from an unknown place with a pressure wave that made Will fall. This was the black dragon Will mentioned. It attacked Hajime suddenly, but Hajime ran and saved him in the nick of time. The dragon gathered its power and aimed it directly at Hajime's group. Hajime summoned a shield and struggled hard to withstand the attack. Shay exploited the opportunity to attack and interrupted its attack, and also hit it with the hammer. The dragon was not affected. It replied by shooting a fireball at her. Shay wanted to hit again, but was pushed away. Hajime continued firing bullets and returning the attack. The dragon aimed a fireball at Will and fired, but Yu was there to block the attack. His classmates also tried to help, but their hits were weak and did not reach the dragon. Hajime asked the teacher to lead them away. When he saw the teacher hesitating, Hajime asked Yue to protect everyone, and he would take care of the dragon. He summoned Schlagen and used it to block the dragon's attack and knocked it to the ground. He ran and hit it in its stomach and then threw a grenade. The dragon got angry after the attack. It attacked madly, but Hajime dodged and replied with blows. Finally, the dragon fell. Hajime pulled the pile bunker to pierce the tough skin. The dragon resisted. At that moment, Shea hit with 2 hammers and succeeded in finishing it. Hajime was amazed by the dragon's terrible strength. He asked Yue and Shea if they had heard the proverb about kicking the dragon in the part with no scales. The dragon's weak point was the places without scales protecting them. It was said they were very protected. When they sleep, no one can wake them up, but if you attack a specific point, they will wake up. Hajime grabbed the spear and stuck it in the dragon's rear. The dragon moaned, which made him very surprised. It asked Hajime to remove it, but he pushed it deeper. Hajime discovered it was actually a female dragon. The dragon said she was from a noble dragon lineage, but due to certain circumstances, she came here. She continued to beg Hajime to remove the spear, but he refused and hit it deeper. The dragon continued to moan and said her energy was about to run out. If she returned to her original form now, it would be dangerous for her. Yu approached and asked her why she came here. The dragon said she would explain everything, but please remove the spear. Hajime continued to hit the spear deeper and asked her to answer. She started explaining everything. She said she was controlled to kill Will's exploration team, flying to her frightening village to investigate travelers from another world. During this trip, she slept. At that time, someone came and used mind control magic that she could not resist. The dragon swore that everything she said was completely true and swore on the honor of dragon men. Yu also believed the dragon's words because she swore on her honor and also knew the look of a liar's eyes. Will was still angry because the whole exploration team was killed. The dragon did not deny this and said she was ready to bear any punishment. The person who controlled the dragon looked like he was trying to gather an army of monsters. Hajime did not care about her words. He was about to kill the dragon. She stopped him and told him she was controlled, so she was not an enemy. Killing her would ruin something very important to him. The dragon asked Hajime to remove the spear. Otherwise, when she returned to her original form, she would die. When there was no other solution, Hajime had to remove it, and this made the dragon very annoyed, and she continued to moan. After struggling for a while, Hajime finally succeeded in removing the spear. She returned to her human form, a young woman wearing a black kimono. She introduced herself as Tio Claris, a member of the dragon tribe. Claris said the army of monsters was advancing towards the village. This surprised everyone very much. It was clear that the person controlling them intended to attack the city, and their number reached thousands. At this moment, through the reconnaissance drone, Hajime saw the army. It was about 60,000 monsters, and they would arrive here within 2 days. The teacher suggested they warn the people and then move them away. Will asked if Hajime could do something. Hajime said his job was just to bring them to Furin safely. He could not fight and protect them at the same time. The teacher asked if he saw the person in the robe. No. The teacher asked him to observe more, but Hajime refused and then grabbed Will and walked. Tio said she needed a day of rest to recover, but her mana would not be enough in time. She was excited when Hajime looked at her with a look of contempt, and this made her soul very happy. Hajime left Will and carried Tio away, but she was happy. The teacher's group also followed them and left the place. At this time, the army of monsters was advancing towards the city. The person in the black robe Tio mentioned was their leader. The teacher at that time said she wanted to ask Hajime to help repel the monsters. Hajime was very surprised. The teacher always put the student's safety first. Now she was asking her student to risk his life for strangers. She said her priority was always the students, but also she did not want to leave the people here because she could not help him when he needed her most. Maybe these words meant nothing to him, but she did not want him to live a life without meaning and separate himself from people and everything. Hajime asked that no matter what happened, she would remain his teacher, right? Whatever he decided, even if it was not what she wanted. The teacher agreed completely as long as he listened to her words before making the decision. Hajime's group then walked away, and he said, "Get ready to face a whole army." This made the teacher very happy. He said since she asked, he agreed. Hajime used magic to raise the ground and create a wall. Men were reinforcing the wall defenses. Women and children were being moved by boats. Tio spent the whole day trying to get close to Hajime, even though he was ignoring her. She was happy. Evening came. The teacher came and asked him how the preparations were going and if she could help him with anything. Hajime said fine. According to what he saw, the monsters would arrive soon. He told the teacher not to worry. Everything would be fine. She felt guilty for dragging him into this and hoped he would return safely. At night, Hajime was preparing ammunition and weapons. One of his classmates named Yuka came to him. She wanted to thank him because he saved her before in the labyrinth. Hajime did not remember anything about her and said it might be just a coincidence that that he saved her. She said she would not waste the opportunity. Since he saved her once, she would not waste that. Hajime told her not to die. She had courage enough. She thanked him and left. At this moment, Tio was watching Hajime from behind a tree, but he discovered her. Quickly, she asked if he had free time, but he did not answer. She continued and said she had things she would like to say. Was he free to listen? She noticed Hajime was ignoring her on purpose, so she thought he was doing this to excite her, and started moaning by herself. Hajime could not stand it. He spoke to her and asked what she wanted. She said could she join his journey, but Hajime refused immediately. She said she would not join for free. Hajime started to get angry. He told her if she wanted to return now, he would remove her to watch chicks naked. Tio got excited by Hajime's look at her. She said she would show him her power in the coming battle, and he would let her join the group automatically. Early in the morning, the monster army arrived. Hajime addressed the people and started giving his speech. He said victory was guaranteed by a miracle from summoned leaders from the sky standing among them now. Then he pointed to the teacher and said, as long as she stood beside them, they would never fall, and that he was her sword and shield. He would execute her orders and protect everyone. The people started chanting her name to raise the morale. Hajime pulled his rifle quickly and fired a shot that took down the flying dragons. The people saw this and rejoiced greatly. The monster leader was very cautious. Everyone started preparing for the battle. Tio took a spare ring from Hajime. She said he was bold to propose to her here. Hajime got annoyed and said he was just lending it to her, and she must return it after the battle. Hajime and Shay were shooting at the monsters. Tio quickly absorbed mana from the ring and started attacking. Shay and Yue combined magic and launched a wide attack that wiped out the monsters. They noticed the situation was not good. The leader ordered the flying lizards to attack, but Hajime finished them off quickly. After a while, everyone started running out of mana. The formation broke because Tio consumed all her mana and fell asleep immediately. Hajime was about to run out of ammo, and Yue did not have much mana. Hajime told her to gather all her power to launch a huge attack. Hajime and Sha distracted the attack from Yue to let her cast the dragon spell to hit a wide area. Hajime asked her if she knew the difference between the monsters. She said only some of them were controlled like Tio, and the rest were useless. The two attacked quickly, their goal being to eliminate the leader so the monsters would lose direction. Hajime swept the area, attacked with rifles, and then used grenades for an area attack, and then flew to eliminate the flying lizards. Shay also quickly identified the commanders and finished them off. Hajime approached the person in the black robe and told him he chose the wrong person to provoke and pointed the gun at him. Shay also approached quickly. They noticed the situation was not good. He was about to escape, but Hajime shot his horse, and he fell to the ground. When he approached, he was surprised by his face, grabbed him, and was amazed because he was the missing classmate. The teacher asked the reason for his leaving and why he did these things. He said he wanted to show her how great he was. The teacher did not understand how this showed he was great. He said the demons would find this great. He told her how he went to the northern mountains to hunt a monster, and there met a demon who recognized how great he was, so he made a contract with them. The contract was to kill the teacher. Regarding the demons, she was more annoying than the heroes. They could not ignore her strategies. The demons would call him a hero if he killed her. He still did not believe he lost with 60,000 soldiers under his command. He asked Hajime with fear who he was. The teacher held his hand. She thought it was not wrong to want to be special, but he should not join the demons. He told her to shut up and asked why he should not join those who would treat him better. The teacher said this was wrong, and she would not allow anyone to use his purity for evil. Because he was her student, she suggested he start over, and she would support him. In the face of this kindness, he used a poison needle to threaten her. He turned to Hajime and told him not to act rashly. Hajime did not believe he could do that. He asked Hajime to hand over his weapons, but he was refused. Hajime thought if he handed the weapons to the demons, they would kill her anyway. There was no reason to hand over the weapons. The teacher noticed someone set them up, so she pushed the other two away. Hajime attacked quickly with his gun, but could not do anything at that time. She was wounded by the attack, and the teacher was stabbed by the poison needle. He poured holy water on her, and she recovered quickly. After that, he poured holy water on her wound. Shimizu was screaming for help. He was afraid to die and hoped someone would save him. The teacher, when she saw her student injured, asked Hajime to save him with holy water, even though he tried to kill her. She wanted to be by her students whatever happened. Hajime asked Shimizu if he was an enemy. He said with fear he would not dare and would be loyal to Hajime, so he begged him to save him. Hajime shot him immediately in front of everyone and terrified them. He thought about the teacher's words, but did not change his stance on enemies and said he would show no mercy at all. The group left the place. Will, after he saw everything, asked Hajime why. He thought even if he did not kill Shimizu, he would have died after a few minutes. Yuo felt he did that to protect the teacher so she would not be hurt thinking a student died because of her. Yuo believed that the teacher would understand soon because she was a teacher and her words lived inside his heart. In a sewer under the ground, a group of slave traders were gathering. They caught a demi-human girl and planned to sell her and earn some money. On the other side, Hajime brought brought will. The father and son rejoiced when they saw each other. Hajime requested a second status plate for Tio. The whole group returned now to the room to rest. She thought to herself that if she worked hard with Hajime, he would show her all the sightseeing spots in Furin. Hajime was watching from the window. Outside there were two following them secretly. He said he would kill anyone who dared to play tricks on them. Even the leaders were not an exception. Tio at that time was lost in her thoughts. She closed her eyes and thought about the past. A burning village in flames, and her father, before he died, told her that their real enemy was the god, a powerful and deceptive being, but not invincible. A time would come when he would not complete his dark plans. The father reassured his daughter while she was crying that one day someone with the ability to defeat him would come. After a while, Tio suddenly felt a strange excitement in her chest. It seemed the leader summoned aliens. Tio decided to leave. She thought that this anomaly would greatly affect their world. She bid farewell to everyone and thought everything would change soon. They went everywhere in the city, from the fountain to the flower garden and the aquarium. After a while, they stood in front of a talking fish named Layman. Hajime introduced himself and asked the fish, "Layman, what?" He asked him about a human, how he would reply. The fish replied it was simply itself. It asked Hajime why he could sense monsters. Hajime answered, maybe because he ate monsters. He could sense them. Then, Hajime told the fish about his journey. The fish showed sympathy and hoped he would return home. It mentioned they were on a date, which made Layman feel rude. Hajime asked the last question, why Layman was here. He said he was on a journey and unfortunately entered an underground waterway. After that, he reached the surface. The two were surprised. He asked them if he wanted to get out, and they got him out. Layman thanked them and said when he arrived here, he saw a small girl being captured and sold. There was a group of slave traders in the place. He warned and hoped they would be careful, especially Shay. After that, they bid each other farewell. On this side, Yu and Tio were shopping. Tio asked her if she was really okay. At this time, another woman was clinging to his leg. She told her this was not another woman at all, but she herself did not feel anything. Returning to Hajime's group, the two were walking around the city. Shea asked Hajime if he was really okay with Tio. Hajime said Tio was just exploiting the situation to follow them. She asked if he did not like Tio. Hajime thought she was not a bad person. At the same time, he liked her. Suddenly, Hajime stopped. His current sense was reacting. There was a child, but under the ground in the sewers. On this side, Yue was sharing her thoughts about Shea, even though at first she was always clinging to Hajime. After she knew more about Shea, she understood her more. She was always giving everything of herself. She was always striving for the things she cherished and for the people she loved. Whether the thing was good or bad, she was always facing it directly. Yue also added that she loved Hajime like she loved him, although not in the same way, but on the same level. Yue felt this was very cute. On this side, Hajime's group went down under the sewers and rescued the small demi-human girl successfully. The slave trader group noticed the girl escaped. The leader got angry and screamed at his follower. Hajime and Shay brought the girl up. This girl was from the merfolk people. They lived in all the western seas. Because she was useful to the kingdom, they were the only monster race that was protected. After a while, the girl woke up. Hajime asked her name, and the girl said her name was Mew. On this side, Yue and Tio were still walking in the city. From Yue's words, Tio understood more about Shea. Tio asked Yue if she was not afraid Hajime's heart would be stolen because he was very attractive. Yue was not worried. She wanted Hajime to find other things to cherish, but she must be the only one who is special. She asked Tio if she wanted to try. She did not want to fight with Yue. Just that. Being tortured by Hajime was enough. Hajime was going to take her to a safe place, and the guards would help find her family. Mayu asked, "What about you, Hajime?" Hajime told her they would part ways. The girl refused and insisted on holding on to him. After that, Hajime handed the girl to the city guards. Before leaving, Miyu asked Hajime if he hated her. Hajime did not answer and walked away. Suddenly, an explosion happened in the place where Miyu was taken. Hajime and Shay ran back. Everything was destroyed. Her kidnappers left a message saying if they did not want Mayu dead, they must hand over Shay as ransom. Hajime and Shay decided to go look for the little girl. The kidnappers became enemies to them now. Yue's group was still enjoying tea and enjoying the quiet time. Suddenly, Hajime broke through the wall and came to them. After quickly summarizing the situation, they decided to help him. They split into two groups and started looking for Miyu. Mayu now was taken to the auction grounds, and there the head of the slave traders was, waiting. At this time, Hajime's group went everywhere and wiped out the slave trade gangs in the city. On this side, the auction started. Miyu was in a tank in the middle of the stage. The head merchant was threatening the little girl continuously, and Mayu was very afraid. Hajime arrived at the stage quickly. He dealt quickly with the head merchant, broke the tank, and rescued Mayu. The little girl cried and hugged him, and then rejoiced quickly. Hajime asked Miyu to close her eyes. The little girl heard him and obeyed. After a while, Hajime told her to open her eyes. They were in the air. He wanted to show the girl the beautiful fireworks display after he blew up the kidnappers' headquarters. Exploded. Yue quickly finished the rest of the hideouts. Hajime quickly brought Miyu to everyone. He introduced Miyu to Yue. Yue praised the little girl and told her she was cute. The little girl burst into tears and hugged Yue. Hajime also introduced the others to the little girl. The little girl thanked Hajime. Hajime told her to change the way she addressed him and not call him big brother again. The little girl asked him if she could call him Papa. Hajime asked her with embarrassment why. Miu said because she did not have a papa, so Hajime could be a papa to her. Hajime said she could call him big brother, but to drop the word papa. Miu cried and refused, so Hajime was forced to accept. Hajime's group left the city now. Miu went with them and was driving excited in front. Hajime got excited and ran after her. When Miu saw that, she wanted to play with him, but Hajime refused, and this upset the little girl. He told her he would let her play later, but now she had to sit quiet. Tio, when she saw his interest, started to get interested. Miu told Yue that Tio was breathing heavily again. Yue said Tio was already beyond saving, and she did not need to worry about her. They now arrived at the city next to the mountain. This was the city Hajime traveled from before to the labyrinth. Remembering the old days made him feel uneasy. Miu noticed he was a bit different. The little girl asked the reason and learned he was here before. Only 4 months had passed, but he felt as if it had been many years. Hajime's group went to look for the guild master. He went there to deliver a letter from the head of the Furin branch. The man named Loboefs received the letter and thanked Hajime. According to what was written in the letter, he knew Hajime's terrifying combat abilities, the fight against the monster army to destroy the slave trading gang. At this moment, an adventurer entered quickly and said there were demons in the labyrinth. Hajime recognized him suddenly. It was his classmate Endo. He was surprised by Hajime's change. His appearance was completely different. He wanted him to go to the labyrinth. He told him if they did not hurry, the others would be in danger. It turned out the exploration team reached the 90th floor, but were surprised there was not a single monster there. Suddenly, they saw traces of monster blood on the ground. It was clear the monsters were killed by something stronger than them. These blood traces were traps to attract the adventurers. At that moment, a demon girl approached them. She offered the group leader to join her. Even his classmates were allowed to join. He refused quickly. She said that one of their classmates accepted the offer. He thought this was just nonsense and started preparing to respond to the attack. When she felt she could not convince them, she said she wanted to kill them all. The defensive shields broke quickly after the attack. The group attacked quickly, but the opponent's defense was very strong. Monsters appeared from an unknown place and caused them great difficulty. Even the magic was blocked and reflected back. The group decided to attack and caused injuries to the monsters, but quickly the injuries were all healed. Noticing the emergency situation, Endo was sent to inform the commander of the exploration team. Endo before that was annoyed by Miu's behavior. The girl was chewing food continuously and did not let him focus. When Hajime saw his daughter was afraid, he got angry. He threatened to kill Endo if he tried to annoy Miu. The situation was a one-sided battle. Despite their effort, the group was able to kill a monster subordinate to the demons. But when she moved personally, the defensive magic could not resist her at all. Even the healer got injured by the summoned monsters. After Endo reached the 70th floor to report, a monster followed him secretly. The leader of the exploration team told him to inform everyone above about the demons, and he would deal with matters here. Endo obeyed, and that was why he was here. On the other side, the exploration team was trying to escape. The group leader was still stunned by what happened. The team split into two sides. One side wanted to agree to the demons' conditions so everyone would survive, and the other side did not want to. They thought they could not trust the demons' words. The commander at this time arrived after being hurt badly in the battle. He told them they must think only about survival. From the beginning, this was their battle. Before he finished, the demon killed him. Anger at the death of the commander. The class leader decided to attack and fight to the death. Based on Ilwa's authority in the letter, he wanted to ask Hajime to save the exploration team. Endo thought Hajime would save them because they were his friends, but Hajime had not considered them friends for a long time. To him, they were just strangers living in the same world. On the other side, the class leader used limit break with rising anger. He attacked the monsters, penetrated the defense, and hit the demon. But when he was about to deliver the final blow, he hesitated when he saw the picture in the locket. The inability to kill someone during war made him weak, and she turned the tables quickly. Endo on this side was begging Hajime. Mayu and the others also wanted him to go down there. Down here, the exploration team was exhausted physically and psychologically. Facing the summoned monsters made the front lines fall one by one. When everything seemed to be at an end, Hajime arrived and killed 2 monsters at once. The demon was scared, not understanding what happened. While passing through the upper floors, Hajime noticed that walking took a long time, so he chose to dig through every floor to save time. After a while, he arrived here. Kaori at that time recognized Hajime and called his name, and this shocked everyone very much. Hajime told Yue to protect everyone behind her. Shay went to check on the people who were defeated, while he would deal with the demon. Kaori showed her concern for Hajime, but he told her not to worry. After that, he went to negotiate with the demon that if she left, he would let her live. He noticed the provocation. She also threatened to destroy him. Hajime noticed a magic circle beside him, put his hand in it, and pulled out the servant fish that the demon intended to use as a surprise. Her monsters fell one by one before Hajime's bullets. She used bats to attack, but it was not. Much better. Hajime wiped out every small monster one by one quickly. The small monsters were annihilated completely. When the demon saw this, she stepped back and summoned the turtle that could absorb and reflect magic attacks. Hajime summoned a shield to protect himself and then used the opportunity to counterattack towards the demon. But luckily, she was able to avoid the attack. Hajime hit the turtle. He noticed the danger, hiding in its shell. He killed the bird that was healing the demon. He threw a grenade into the turtle's mouth to finish it. The whole class was amazed by Hajime's power. They could not believe the quiet person, and weak from before, had now become savage and bloody. Hiyama still did not believe the truth. On that day, he was the one who cast the magic spell and made Hajime fall, so witnessing that the person he killed was still alive shocked him severely. He thought that Hajime was just a fraud planning something. Yue spoke to him and cut him off. She told him to calm down and not dream of standing in Hajime's way again. The monsters were summoned again, but Yue very quickly finished them all off. The situation on her side was almost the same. The demon at this time still did not believe what happened before her eyes. She changed her target and started attacking Kaori and Shizuku's group. Hajime threw Shizuku the sword he had made. She caught it and cut the monster into small pieces. The demon felt severe despair. She summoned smoke descending from above to block vision and took the opportunity to escape. Hajime threw a spear in front of her, leaving her no place to escape. She was surprised when she saw Hajime using strong magic without getting hurt. She asked if he was human or not. Hajime thought and said accurately that he was not exactly human. He approached her, raised his head, and faced her head directly. Hajime wanted to ask her how a demon could use these monsters and her goal for being here. He noticed that she refused to talk. Hajime shot both her legs and made her fall. He stated his theory that these monsters were made from a type of ancient magic and that the demons gained the ability after they passed an ancient labyrinth, and her goal for being here was to explore the place, or exactly, to reach its end. At this time, she understood why Hajime was here and his monstrous power, because he also passed an ancient labyrinth and gained ancient power. Hajime confirmed once again if the answer was matching his theory. She said that one day her lover would find him and kill him. Hajime did not care about these words. Whether they were demons or gods, he would face them all, and those who were deceived by the god would not even dream of touching him. After he confirmed the answer, he killed her without hesitation, even if the class leader tried to stop him. After he finished everything, Hajime went to check the condition of everyone. The exploration team leader was given magic water. Everyone in the group approached him. Kaori asked about the condition of the commander. Hajime told her he was fine now because they treated him. Kaori burst into tears when she saw Hajime was still alive. She apologized because she could not keep her promise to protect him. Hajime comforted her and told her that he lived and rose again, so she did not need to apologize to him, so she should stop crying. Kaori hugged him and cried. On this side, Yu and Shay started to feel jealousy. On the way back, the class leader asked Hajime why he killed the demon when she could not resist. Hajime thought that he was not upset with him for killing her, but upset with himself because he could not do anything. He was pretending there was a better reason to deal with the matter. He denied Hajime's words. Hajime continued and said that in this world, it is kill or be killed, so he must kill his enemies, and there is nothing wrong with that. He said he would not show mercy, but he would always choose to kill. If anyone continued to stand in his way, Hajime would not give them a chance, even if they were former classmates. Hajime would not hesitate to kill them. He told them not to misunderstand. He was here because he was indebted to Kaori. Now the debt was paid, and they would separate here. Hajime said this and walked away quickly. The others also felt the clear change in him. Everyone returned safely. When they exited, they met an elite force gathered from the Lasted to save the people in the labyrinth, but he did not expect Hajime to return quickly. Since everyone returned safely, the army disbanded. Kaori at this time approached Hajime and said she wanted to come with him, but Yue refused and said she was not qualified. Kaori said she would not lose to anyone in feelings towards him. After that, she said she loved him. Hajime told her he had feelings for another girl, so he could not reciprocate the same feeling. Kaori said she wanted to be beside him. She wanted to show him other sides of her. She decided to declare war on Yue to win. Yue at this time agreed that she could come with him. She wanted to show Kaori why Yue was superior by far. The two accepted the challenge and started competing for Hajime. Kaori, after noticing that Miu called him Papa, asked for an explanation of his engagement and became jealous, and Shizuku ran to pull her away. Hajime worried about his future, but Yue told him not to worry because they were the strongest. Hajime agreed to let Kaori come with him. They would travel early, so she must not be late. At night, Shizuku came looking for Hajime to return the sword, and he told her she could keep it because it helped her a lot. She thanked Hajime and said he was amazing. She thought he could not fight, but he mastered using his abilities to this degree, and this amazed her very much. Hajime's group after that gathered together. The class leader intended to follow them, but Shizuku stopped him and said that Kaori always dedicated her feelings to Hajime, so he would not be able to convince her to return. In the morning, Hajime's group started their departure after they bid farewell farewell to everyone. Kaori went quickly to Hajime's place, and his classmates traveled by car, and this amazed everyone. When she rode the car, Kaori felt dissatisfied with the seating arrangement. She said they always sat like this and wanted to monopolize the seat next to Hajime for herself in the future. Tio noticed the excitement from this treatment, and this made Miu say something inappropriate without intent. Hajime was surprised and wanted to know where Miu learned this talk. The car continued to travel far on Hajime's journey to return home. Under the sky at night, Hajime was standing in the middle of the air. He was panting and appeared to be badly hurt. In front of him was a girl with long white hair carrying two swords. Unlike the tired Hajime, she was completely calm and had no trace of injury. Hajime raised his gun high and aimed it. She opened her large wings quietly in response to his challenge. Hajime smiled and confirmed his determination to eliminate all enemies, even if they were leaders. Returning to the present, in the capital, Hajime's group of friends returned safely from the labyrinth. The princess at the capital, Liliana, when she heard the news of their return, ran to receive them. It was clear she was afraid that an incident like Hajime's would repeat. When she saw them, she ran happily. It was clear she and her friend Shizuku were close. Shizuku, after she returned, asked about the condition of her classmates in the second team. They were busy training every day. They did not want to depend on Shizuku's group, so they worked hard training to become stronger. Everyone was happy with his return, but two were still gloomy. Maybe it was Koki when he thought about Hajime's decisive actions, and Hiyama, who was shocked when he knew the person he killed was standing in front of him and protecting him. The princess at this time asked about Kaori's condition. Shizuku told her that Kaori was traveling with Hajime, and maybe this affected Koki's strange behavior a bit. The princess felt regret because she would not see Hajime again. Shizuku told her that he was now looking for a way to return to the old world. She also told the princess that she would be surprised if she saw the changes from his appearance to his manner. Hajime's group was now walking in the desert. Everyone in the vehicle was comfortable. Hajime told Kaori not to call him Papa again. Then he said to Miu it was fine, but when a classmate called him that, it was a bit embarrassing. Kaori said she would not call him that again, but when she started, unfortunately, Miu interrupted her and said she called him that first. She said that Hajime promised her they would go to his town, meet his family, and go on dates. This shocked Kaori very much. Yua said to Kaori that there were many things about Hajime she knew that she did not, about Hajime's future and hobbies, and his favorite anime and manga. Yo could not reply, but she thought that was not important because those things did not exist here. Kaori said that Hajime had now become like an anime hero, and the weapons he tested were also very strong. Hajime felt severe embarrassment and kept hitting his head on the steering wheel continuously. When Yue heard this, she did not want to lose. Miu, seeing them arguing all day, got angry and said she did not want them to fight. She also saw this as an opportunity to intervene and ask them both. The two felt guilty and apologized to her. Mayu at this time told them that there was something in front of them. It looked like a group of sandworms surrounding him, but were hesitant whether to eat the prey or not. Usually, they were greedy, so they would not leave the prey in front of them. At this moment, some sandworms attacked Hajime's group. He quickly maneuvered and dodged the attack. The worms were still chasing behind them. After that, she was strapped immediately into the seat. After dodging a bit, Hajime turned the car and started driving backward. Miu was very excited seeing this. He noticed that dodging was not a good idea. He seized the opportunity to test new weapons. The sides of the car opened, revealing missiles inside. Hajime launched the missiles quickly, and the worms fell immediately. Hajime's group approached the worms' location. They noticed new targets and changed the direction of the attack. Hajime continued testing the new weapons. A gun popped out from the front of the car. After a rain of bullets, there was no trace of the worms left. At this moment, there was a person lying in the middle of the desert. It seemed this was the original target of the worms. After a little hesitation, Hajime decided to leave Miu in the car while they went down to check the situation because the man was not eaten by the worms. There might be something special about him. When they approached, the man's face was covered in blood and his veins were bulging. Kaori discovered the reason was due to poison absorption, so his magic went haywire. And since he could not get rid of it, it accumulated to a degree his body could not handle. If this continued, his internal organs and veins would be destroyed. Kaori quickly used healing magic, but it was not working. After that, Kaori put her hand on his body and used high-level healing magic to transfer magic power and control his power, and at the same time, expel the magic that exploded. Then she transferred it into Hajime's magic absorption ring. After a while, she stopped. Although there was no progress so far, they still needed to solve this strange problem. She was worried because because she had never seen these symptoms before. She asked Tio and Yue if they knew about it, but the two did not know anything. Hajime asked Kaori to check everyone, also because this was an unknown disease that might spread in the air. After a while, the man woke up and thought he died, or that she was a goddess and asked her, but Hajime brought him back to reality quickly. The man was very surprised that he was still alive. Hajime quickly took him to the car. He was very surprised by the new things and thought this place was a magical land. After drinking water, he thanked Hajime's group for saving him. Then he introduced himself as Bize Feyward Zengen, son of the Lord of Ankaji Duchy. It was clear this was also the place they were going to, and this place was close to Miyu's hometown. Hajime felt something was wrong with the city. He asked Bize to tell him more about this place. Bize said that a few days ago in the city of Ankaji, people were getting fevers and collapsing. The water source had toxins causing magic to explode. The reason was the pollution of the oasis. Although they increased patrols, they could not find who did this, but it could be treated using a mineral stone called stillstone. This stone reduces magic activity and was collected from the great volcano of Grand Grun. But since the veteran adventurers got sick and mediocre adventurers could not go, the water source was dwindling. Bees intended to bring reinforcements when he fell. He needed someone to purify the water source and then go to the volcano to collect mineral stones. Then he expressed his desire to hire Hajime's group and asked them to help him. After a little hesitation, Hajime agreed to help because this was the place they were going to anyway. Bize intended to go to the capital to get someone to purify the water source. Hajime said they could do it themselves, so there was no need to go there. At this time, in the demon's castle, news spread of the defeat of the demon at Hajime's hands throughout the castle. The commander said not only was the demon killed, but the attempt to assassinate Hajime's teacher failed too. They called Hajime's group irregular, meaning the apostates, when they thought both incidents were caused by the same person. The commander decided to go to the great volcano to seize the new age of God's magic. He asked his subordinates to protect the place, and they started marching to the great volcano. A big battle was expected to happen. Hajime's group arrived now at Ankaji Duchy, a beautiful port on the sea with wonderful views. But this place had no life. The houses here were old and abandoned. Bize said he also wanted to show them the life of this place, but now they did not have time. They arrived now at the Lord's place here, who was also his father. Bize introduced his friends and told them they would try to save this place. Kaori and Yu were taken to the place of the sick. Many sick people were lying down waiting for death to come to them. Without hesitation, they started caring for them. On the other side, Hajime's group went to an empty land. Yue used her power and created a lake for the village here to wait a bit. After that, she got tired and had to suck Hajime's blood. Then they went to the polluted water source location. As soon as they arrived, Hajime's magic stone reacted. He asked quickly about the investigation process into the pollution. The Lord said he checked the water quality in the springs coming from the oasis and groundwater, but did not check the bottom of the oasis. Hajime asked if there were artifacts underneath. The Lord replied that the guards and administration used some artifacts, but they were all on the surface. Hajime was curious to know the reason his magic stone reacted. He threw a grenade into the water, and the Lord was surprised. He noticed one was not enough. Hajime threw several ones, but what came out was a quantity of water and fish only. Before Hajime intended to throw 50 more, the Lord hugged him and stopped him suddenly. At this moment, purple water flew up from below, attacking everyone. Hajime shot at them with his gun, but they quickly changed the direction of attack. Yue froze this water, and Tio vaporized it with fire. At this time, in the middle of the lake, there was a slimy creature, purple. The Lord got tense, not knowing what this creature was, but Hajime ignored him and said he just needed to know it was the cause of the disease. He guessed maybe it had an internal magician releasing toxins. The Lord found Hajime's explanation logical. He asked if he could control it. Hajime replied calmly and told him there was no problem. While the creature was diving in the water to attack Hajime, he exploited the opportunity and threw it at the middle of its body. The monster melted and sank underwater. Hajime noticed there was no magic reaction from the oasis after that, but eliminating the cause did not mean the water was purified. After checking, indeed the water was still polluted. When she saw the Lord's disappointment, Tio consoled him, saying that after the source of the disease was removed, clean water would flow continuously and soon be clear again. Yu agreed with her. The Lord at this time asked about the source of this creature. Hajime thought it was caused by the demons here. Kaori and Yue were caring for the sick. Hajime's group returned now. Here, the Lord announced quickly to the people that the source of pollution was removed, and in the future, the oasis would return, clear like before. Also, he introduced Hajime's group. Hajime said they would head quickly to the great volcano to collect the mineral stones to treat the people. After that, Hajime's group split again into two halves. Kaori and Miyu would stay here, and collecting the mineral stones would be left to Hajime. Before they left, Kaori was still worried. She was afraid Hajime would disappear again like before, so she reminded him he must return. Hajime turned, his face to Yue in an embarrassing way. At this moment, Miyu spoke to break the atmosphere. atmosphere. After that, Hajime's group set off for the Great Volcano. After they passed a path with sandworms and a sandstorm, they finally arrived to the Great Volcano Grand Gruen. While walking on the mountainside, the group felt the frightening heat of the volcano. But this heat was perfect for Tio because she was a dragon after all. After a while, they reached the entrance in the volcano. Inside, heat and lava covered everything. Hajime discovered quickly a type of resistant stone and thought it might be the still stone they were looking for. Since the pieces here were a bit small, likely they were mined before. Hajime decided to enter deeper inside to find more. After a while, the group reached the central area. Immediately, they were attacked by a bull covered in lava. Shay ran quickly to fight. She quickly tried a new technique. The bull was destroyed quickly. It was clear Hajime's improvements made the hammer stronger. After that, they reached an area covered in stillstone. The whole group was impressed by the magnificence of the place, with the quantity of these mineral stones. They had enough power to save the Ankaji people. Hajime agreed and said the last thing they needed to do here was overcoming this great labyrinth. They continued to enter deeper. The heat was increasing to the degree it made her hallucinate. Hajime noticed the situation was not good. He decided to stop and rest quickly. The whole group entered immediately. The cave he made inside. Yue made a large ice block, and Taio blew cold air covering the cave completely. Tio thought this heat was a characteristic of this type of labyrinth. Hajime at this time did not understand what that meant. Tio said every type of labyrinth had challenges and traits. Orcus was for training in practical combat with different monsters. Raisin was for learning endurance against attacks without using magic. And perhaps the Great Volcano Grand Gruen was a place to endure heat and react to attacks in these conditions. Hajime at this time understood. Until now, he had not noticed this. But maybe these challenges were lessons from the liberators. Hajime at this time looked at Yue because of the heat. Yu needed to wipe the sweat from her whole body. Hajime noticed her looks. She invited him to wipe the sweat for her. After resting, the whole group continued moving. Now they were riding a boat to cross on the lava flow. Hajime thought this was like going to an amusement park. He noticed another tunnel in front of them. Tio noticed the height difference of the two tunnels and thought there was something inside. Hajime entered with the boat. There, he noticed something unstable. Hajime told them to hold on well. They discovered in front of them a lava waterfall. The boat fell quickly. When they reached the second lava flow, Yua used her power to slow the fall of the boat in the middle of the lava. At this time, there was a castle standing. Around the walls, decorated with water, magic stone. It was clear this was the hideout of the liberators. But the group noticed something strange. There was no challenge for them here. At this moment, a fireball fell from above, targeting them. Tio quickly blocked the attack. After that, a rain of fire bullets headed toward them. The whole group got off the boat and stood on stone pillars. Fireballs kept targeting them. Hajime said he would examine the base and asked Yue to support him. Hajime stood in the air and approached the base. While he was busy observing, lava snakes emerged to attack him. Hajime quickly dodged them. The four of them gathered on a rocky outcrop next to the base. He noticed that the monsters were healing, no matter how much they hit them. Hajime thought that there was a magic stone core inside them. In this case, Hajime's magic also could not locate the core. After that, Hajime loaded a special type of bullet into his gun. When he fired the bullet, it destroyed the monster's whole body, and then the core appeared and could be destroyed. The whole group saw and applied this method in actual combat, but after a while, the monsters revived again. The group was very surprised. At this time, they discovered crystals on the walls breaking. Hajime noticed that every snake killed broke a stone. He understood they needed to kill 100 snakes to pass the test. The group started working quickly and slaughtered every snake one by one. After a while, only 5 snakes remained. When the last snake fell, a beam of light descended from the sky onto Hajime. After the beam disappeared, Hajime fell in the air, and Yue quickly used magic to make Hajime float and caught him. After that, she took him to rest on a rocky outcrop and helped him recover with holy water. At this time, the attacks kept targeting them. Luckily, he regained consciousness in the nick of time and blocked these attacks. In this moment, a voice was suddenly heard. The whole group looked up and saw a dragon army above them. Their leader was from the demon side and aimed to kill Hajime. He noticed that Hajime was still awake after taking a direct hit. He asked Hajime who he was and how much ancient magic he learned. Hajime replied at this time and asked him to introduce himself first. The whole group saw how Hajime woke up and rejoiced greatly. Yu tried to help him stand. Yue and Tio approached him. In the beginning, he was arrogant and did not want to introduce himself, but after Hajime's provocation, he introduced himself as Freed Bagua, a follower of the god who would bring divine punishment. He said that after gaining the god's power, he heard the god's voice and was chosen as a follower, so he would sacrifice everything according to the god's will. Because he noticed Hajime's existence, he put all his power into killing him. Hajime Hajime smiled and said he would kill him. The whole group then dispersed and attacked from multiple sides, but he was prepared with a shield against Hajime's group's attacks. He started chanting an incantation to attack the whole group. Hajime fired missiles to stop him, but the defense was very solid. After he finished the incantation, he and the two teleported behind Hajime and launched an attack on him. The power of the attack pushed him back. The whole group at this time was busy defending against the dragon's attacks, so they could not help him. Tio at this time was very worried. She wanted to do something to help Hajime, but did not know what to do. She remembered memories with her father. Hajime at this time could not stand it anymore. He was forced to use Limit Break and withstood the dragon's attack successfully. After that, he summoned shields to help him block the attacks. Freed noticed Hajime's stubbornness and intended to chant again, but Tio at this time transformed into a dragon and knocked him away. Freed was surprised by Tio's form. He did not expect there were still dragons in this world. Tio threatened him not to hit Hajime. Then she breathed fire to attack. Freed also made his dragon breathe fire to counter. The blue and purple flames were evenly matched, but the advantage started leaning to Tio. He did not expect this power from her. He tried to use magic to attack her, but Hajime stopped him. He used a rifle and attacked him. Freed quickly tried to block with magic, but the magic shield was penetrated easily. While he was still surprised, Hajime rushed and cut his chest direct. Then he hit him a second time, knocking Freed far away. On the other side, Tio won the competition between dragons. Hajime at this time reached his limits. He coughed up blood. His body also did not have enough power to maintain the magic in the air, so he fell slowly, but Tio caught him quickly and took him to where Yue was. Freed at this time felt fear before the power of Hajime's team. He did not expect that even using the god's power, he would be pushed back because he failed to kill the opponent with the first strike. The battle started shifting gradually. Hajime told him not to be rash because he could continue fighting. Freed also noticed the killing intent. He wanted to prey on the opponent. Although Hajime fell, he noticed his opponent's power and decided to use his last strategy. Hajime did not understand. Suddenly, everything started shaking. The lava also started rising slowly. Hajime asked Freed what he did. Freed said he destroyed the stone pillar. He said, although the great volcano was still active, there was no record of it erupting before, meaning there was an underground mechanism controlled the lava flow, and destroying the pillar caused the volcano to prepare for eruption. After that, he walked away and left the group there. Hajime approached Tio and told her to take his ring and leave the place. Tio thought she no longer had value to Hajime, but he denied it. He said he had not given up and that one day he would defeat Freed, but they must keep their promise to return the Ankaji Stillstone because he could not do that alone. He wanted to ask for her help. He wanted her to break out of this place and return to Ankaji. After she agreed, Hajime handed her his ring and asked her to send a message to Kaori and Miu to see them later. Tio went out quickly and broke through. Quickly, the enemy's control over the bullets with the help of the whole group. Although she was wounded, she succeeded in passing through the door that was about to close. When Freed saw that Tio got out, he noticed she was wounded, so he decided to finish her off. But Tio used Hajime's ring and summoned his shields. The shields exploded one by one, and the surprise helped Tio escape. At this time, Ankaji also received news that the volcano erupted. Kaori got tense, afraid something happened to Hajime's group. In the capital, at this time, the princess was walking in the hallway. She noticed strangeness in the king and guards as if they were being controlled. After she walked a bit, she met Shizuku training. Memories of the battle in the labyrinth made Shizuku determined to become stronger. While she was training enthusiastically, a cat appeared in front of her without her noticing. She sat petting the cat and felt quickly that it was very cute, and it attracted her. While she was focused on it, suddenly she noticed the princess was behind her without her noticing. The princess said she didn't see Shizuku at Koki's place, so she walked to look for her. Shizuku, when she noticed the princess saw this scene a moment ago, was very embarrassed. After a while, the two started talking to each other. The royal palace and the pope wanted to strengthen Shizuku's group quickly so they could fight the demons. As for Hiyama, it seemed they considered him a leader. On the other side, Hiyama was very angry because Hajime was still alive. Suddenly a voice came to speak to him. This person said he was not only angry because Hajime was still alive, but also because Kaori followed him. This person said if something was taken, just take it back, and threatened Hiyama regarding his harming of Hajime before. This person appeared to be a classmate of Hiyama. The person continued and said that Hiyama must continue and his wishes would come true. After flying for a bit, Tio returned to Ankaji. She flew quickly and fell at the city gate. Kaori at this time saw this and ran quickly to the injured Tio's location. Tio said she was fine. After that, Kaori looked around and did not notice Hajime's group anywhere. She asked Tio quickly about him. Tio told Kaori to calm down, but Tio returning alone and the volcano explosion made Kaori unable to stop worrying. Tio at this time was taken to a room to rest. She told everything that happened in the labyrinth to Kaori and Miu. Tio said that Hajime would come later because he had not given up yet. Maybe he found a way to break the siege. She conveyed Hajime's message message to Kaori and Miu to see them later. Kaori at this time calmed down a bit. Tio told her to trust in Hajime's power no matter how difficult the circumstances were. Miu at this time asked Kaori if she wasn't going to get Hajime. Kaori said she was confident in his ability and thought she needed to do what she could, and then she would go get him. But since they could not take Miu to the volcano, Tio thought they should take the little girl to Miu's hometown village to meet her mother first. Everyone agreed to this quickly. On the other side, Hajime was lying on a boat in the middle of the sea. It seemed several days passed since the volcano erupted. They reached the base in the middle of the lava and entered inside easily before the lava covered them. When they entered inside, they discovered a magic circle in the middle of the room and entered quickly. They took the magic of controlling the place, a form of teleportation like the magic Freed used. The circle disappeared. A text appeared wishing from all its heart that humanity's future goes according to natural will. Yue touched her hand on the wall. Then they separated. Inside there was a badge as proof of controlling this place. The last thing they needed to do was escape from here. Yue said this magic was very difficult to use, and Hajime barely managed to master it quickly. Then he got an idea to swim out of the lava flow, which surprised Yue. The door opened at this point. Lava started filling the place. All three were wrapped in a layer of magic shield. Hajime said he made a submarine to travel underwater to the next labyrinth, but he did not know if it could withstand being in lava. Yo expanded the shield and opened a path for them to exit. Everyone was sitting on the submarine in the middle of the lava flow. Everyone was very happy. The submarine worked well here, but the rudder was not working. The lava flow rose slowly, and this made the submarine and all the people sink a bit. There was no other solution. They had to let the lava carry them. After a while, the volcano erupted. They got out and were launched into the sea. When they noticed they were being chased by sharks, Hajime used missiles to keep them away. After one shot, the ammo ran out. Yu was forced to join the fight and created a tornado shaped like a shield that cuts anything trying to enter the vortex. At the same time, it raised the boat to the surface, and they ended up as they are now. It was time to eat. They caught fish and grilled it to eat. Hajime did not know their location now. He also said he wanted to know more, but accidentally gave the treasure to Tio, so they had to let fate take them. At this moment, a group of people from underwater appeared suddenly and surrounded them. They asked who Hajime's group was and what they were sitting on. When Hajime saw their sudden appearance, he was shocked. They asked if Hajime's group kidnapped their grandchildren when they noticed the resemblance in features. Everyone knew this was Miu's tribe. A person in the tribe could not be patient and ran to attack her, but Hajime pushed him away. Miu was falling from above next to the little girl. Tio was in dragon form, and Kaori was sitting on her back. Everyone gathered together. Hajime scolded Miu not to do dangerous things like that next time. Miu cried and apologized to Papa and promised him she would obey him from now on. Kaori at this time was very happy because Hajime was safe. He told her he was fine, so she should stop crying. She put her head on his shoulder and said to leave it like that for a bit. After this reunion, everyone continued their way. After a while, they reached Arison, Miu's town. Hajime approached the manager of the guild here with a referral letter. The guild manager confirmed the mission was finished. Hajime said he wanted to take Miu to meet her mother first. He added that he would stay here a bit, so if there was anything, ask him later. The manager of the guild agreed to this condition. Miu guided him to her place. When Miu saw her mother from afar, she ran and hugged her. When she noticed her mother's leg was injured, she called Hajime to help her. When she heard Miu calling Papa, her mother, and the people were confused. He reassured Miu that her mother would be fine, so she should not make a face like that again. Then he carried Miu's mother inside the house. The people outside were very surprised, not understanding what was happening. They thought maybe Miu's mother got married again and brought a new young man, so they congratulated her. Inside the house, Kaori was treating Miu's mother. This wound was caused by Mayu's kidnappers. After examining it, Kaori knew she could heal it completely. She also told Mayu's mother to rest a few days after treatment. The mother and daughter were very happy and thanked Kaori. After that, Miu's mother asked Hajime how he met Miu and why the little girl calls him Papa. Hajime told the mother everything. The mother wanted to thank them and let them stay in her house, but Hajime refused because there was a hotel near the pier. When Mayu heard that Hajime intended to leave, she cried. The girl's mother said since he would leave soon, he remained the little girl's papa until then. At the same time, if he wanted, he could be her papa for life too. Hajime refused quickly and hoped her mother would not joke like that. He also noticed the icy expressions of the others. At this time in the capital, Shizuku had something to report to the king. She was about to go to his place when she met her teacher. The two greeted each other. The teacher told Shizuku everything that happened with her. After listening, Shizuku expressed sympathy for her classmate and felt she was lucky her teacher was still safe. The teacher spoke about Hajime's changes, about how his personality changed, but he became more mature and very reliable. Shizuku at this time kept wondering how she was saved. The teacher looked away in the distance. Shizuku continued to ask if she felt strange while reporting to the king. The teacher said that the king determined completely that Hajime was a heretic. Shizuku felt this decision was a bit rushed. The teacher thought that although Hajime had great power and did not follow the church, he saved the whole city. However, no matter how much she objected, the king and his aides would not accept. The teacher noticed there was some strangeness in the king and the officials in the kingdom. The two felt strange about this. The teacher continued to tell Shizuku about something Hajime told her. After spending a little time in Arisen, everyone bid them farewell, and they started heading towards the Melusine underwater ruins. Hajime sat alone on the deck of the boat. He noticed that the underwater ruins had to be near their area. Kaori approached him. The sunset view here reminded her of Japan. Although not half a year had passed, she felt severe nostalgia. Everyone at this time gathered here. Yue looked cautiously at Hajime very closely. Night arrived. Hajime noticed something while looking at the moonlight holding the mineral he got from the great volcano. The light gathered quickly inside the mineral. When it filled up, it reflected the light onto the water surface. Everyone was surprised and wondered about the mystery. The boat followed the direction of the light quickly. They reached the bottom of the sea. The rock in front of them split and created a path that took them inside. Since the entrance was hidden like that, no one could find it. A water vortex pulled them inside quickly. Hajime adjusted the boat's direction quickly. A group of demons was behind them, chasing them. Hajime at this time was encouraged to try his new weapons. A group of missiles launched quickly and finished the demons. In front of them now was a door shaped like a moon. Hajime used the pendant to shine light on it, and quickly the rock split in two. The remaining energy in the pendant ran out. The boat fell inside an underwater cave. The water above suddenly came down quickly. Tio noticed something in the cave ceiling. She attacked quickly, making them fall. Everyone continued moving forward and noticed Yue faced difficulty in movement. On the way, they were subjected to various types of monsters. Kaori was amazed by their power. Everyone entered a small cave. The cave entrance was blocked. He attacked it, but there was no effect. Tio told Yue to stay in her place and burned the monster part on Yue's body. It appeared the monster's attack caused the magic to last. The monster at this time gathered into a very large mass. Everyone kept attacking all the time, and Kaori was responsible for defense. Quickly, the monster broke into pieces all over the place, but it started regenerating again like before. Hajime, after examining it a bit, thought this monster did not have a magic stone, according to his magic eye. Its color was entirely red and black. It seemed its whole body was the magic stone, and since the whole room was the same color as the monster, Hajime thought they were now inside its stomach. Hajime pulled out the flamethrower to burn the monster. Everyone else attacked with him, but it was all useless. After some attacks, still no result. Hajime quickly looked around. He discovered there was a space underground. He pulled a drill and dug down. Water columns rose up. A vortex formed from the hole, pulling everyone down and pushing them out. Everyone quickly grabbed rock crevices so they wouldn't be thrown out. When he noticed Kaori was close to reaching her limit, Hajime quickly swam and ran to grab her. After Kaori woke up, she found herself on a small island. Hajime was there with her, and the others were not present. She asked why he saved her instead of Yue. Hajime answered because she would have drowned, and Yue could handle herself. When he saw Kaori's troubled face, Hajime pinched her cheek and reminded her to focus because they were still inside the great labyrinth. After they passed the green meadow, they were now in a ship graveyard. The two looked around cautiously. Suddenly, the space around them distorted. The scene around them changed. They found themselves on a boat in the middle of a naval battle. A rain of bullets came at them. Hajime attacked, but his bullets could not touch this rain. His defense spell worked. Hajime quickly understood from this place. It was neither illusion nor reality completely. He added magic power to his bullets and hit the shots successfully. Beside them was a wounded man. Kaori ran quickly to treat him, but this person disappeared because anything affected by magic here disappeared. Kaori was shocked. She felt she killed the man. Hajime told her it was not her fault because this place was not real. Kaori quickly calmed down. At this moment, a group of people surrounded them without them knowing. Hajime attacked quickly and opened a path for the two to escape. The two quickly found a way to escape, but there were hundreds of ships. It was difficult for them to determine where the exit was. Hajime suggested they end the war. The space around them changed again, and they returned to reality. It appeared that this area was modified to test the participants by recreating the old war. It seemed this labyrinth was for them to feel the suffering of the mad god. Kaori, at this time, fell in front of the war scenes. There was no other solution. The two had to stop and rest here. She apologized to him, but Hajime reassured her because he understood better than anyone the feeling of falling into madness. And I came from it because I was beside Yue. Hajime at this time changed. Kaori, since they entered here, continued to apologize and was depressed. He asked her why she wanted to come with him. Kaori felt she was a burden. Hajime did not deny this. He thought Kaori must remain as she was, even if she did not know how to use magic. She was always stressed, but did not give up. Kaori, since she came here, was only apologizing and forgot even to laugh. He wanted her to raise her head and look at him. He reminded her again that he loved her even if he cherished anyone else. Her special place still existed. If Kaori continued not understanding and comparing herself to Yue and feeling inferior, it would be better to leave this. It would be better. At this time in the capital, the teacher was on her way to meet her students when a nun stood in front of her. She greeted the teacher, then approached her without understanding what was happening. She tried to control her, but failed. She was forced to make her lose consciousness and take her away. These events happened in front of Princess Liliana. Hajime at this time said he agreed to let her come with him because she was like him, because she understood him well. Maybe her presence beside him was not a bad thing. He also reminded Kaori to think well if she wanted to remain beside him or not, depending on the situation. He could send her back to Shizuku's place. The two continued their journey together. They approached an old ship. Hajime carried Kaori onto the ship to observe more. The space around them changed again. Hajime warned Kaori to be careful. Now they were on a ship with a banquet of different races. During the banquet, the man stood up to speak. He congratulated everyone after the long war and said the war ended and everyone could enjoy this happiness. Hajime at this time felt strange. Could he have misunderstood the labyrinth? Kaori at this time was surprised by the scene in front of her. She rejoiced because she knew there was a time when humans, demons, and demi-humans lived together. At this moment, the man changed his tone and said all this. Stupidity. He said it was stupidity for them to hold a banquet with the apostates and demi-humans. The demons and demi-humans did not understand what was happening. The humans and soldiers pointed weapons at these people. They wanted to eliminate the races that the god abandoned and to rebuild the nation, and also those who wanted equality with humans. All this to offer it to the gods. Today was the day of eliminating the apostates to honor the gods. A massacre of demi-humans and demons occurred on the ship. They were eliminated. Kaori was shocked by the current situation. Hajime at this time noticed a white-haired woman standing next to the man who spoke. The scene changed again, and they returned to reality. Hajime told Kaori to rest, but she said she was fine and asked what happened and why they returned when they had not done anything yet. Hajime thought maybe the purpose here was to show them the memories of the mad god, then leave them to explore the ship themselves. The two continued. Inside the ship, the two discussed the previous scene together. Hajime noticed the king looked a bit strange when he stood on the platform. His eyes still held care for everyone. If he truly hated demi-humans and demons, his eyes would not have been like that. Kaori thought that in this year of peace, something happened that changed the king's personality. Hajime thought the god interfered in this matter. When they entered deeper, fog started spreading in the ship. At this moment, Hajime discovered and grabbed the thread in front of him. The trap activated, but he quickly canceled it. Suddenly, a tornado appeared and took Kaori far away. Hajime intended to find her, but around him were soldiers of the army. He quickly finished them all off and then ran to look for Kaori. After a while, she approached him. Hajime aimed his gun at her neck. He understood that this was just an imposter and quickly shot it and continued to shoot several times. Again, he warned the imposter not to mimic Kaori's voice or use her body. The imposter threatened Hajime that if anything happened to it, Kaori's body would be hurt, and if it disappeared, Kaori would be destroyed psychologically. Hajime ignored this and attacked, knowing that bullets with magic would not affect Kaori at all, and if he did not attack, the person in front of him would not let Kaori go. Also, if he did not finish it off completely, the spirit would not disappear, so Hajime needed to attack until the spirit inside Kaori's body came out. The imposter was surprised by this. Hajime said this was the price for touching someone important to him. He would not finish it off easily, but would use every method without letting it disappear. After they entered, they were teleported to a temple in the middle of the sea. They noticed the circle in the middle of the ground was not glowing. Hajime thought things were still not finished, or someone arrived there before them. At this moment, Yuo and Tio also arrived here quickly. They asked about each other's condition. After they confirmed everything and praised Kaori's determination, Yue was happy she returned to her normal self. Everyone entered the circle and obtained the regeneration magic. The circle disappeared, and a stone tablet appeared with a hologram of a woman appearing in front of them. She reminded them not to rely on gods and to continue with their own effort because only the source of free will could achieve happiness. She also said that she disappeared after that. Then the proof of conquest appeared. With 4 proofs in their hand, they could challenge the Great Labyrinth. After they took the proof of exploration, the water level suddenly rose quickly. Yue used the location magic to teleport the whole place again. A wave dragged them down, and they faced the monster from before that they could not defeat. Hajime at this time thought of a way to deal with the monster. He thought normal fire had no effect, so he decided to make a strong fire from these crystals and asked everyone to give him 3 minutes. At this time, the monster intended to swallow them, but suddenly the fish that Hajime freed before arrived and helped him. He explained that he was swimming and suddenly felt a familiar magic source, so he came to see. After 3 minutes, Hajime made more than 10 torpedoes and hit the monster with them. After this hit, the monster exploded immediately. In the capital at this time, 3 days had passed since the teacher disappeared. The students students were very worried about her when they noticed things became strange. They reported this news to the exploration team leader and learned he was also investigating the matter. After they returned from the water labyrinth, Hajime and his team returned to Miu's house for a bit. At this time, breakfast was ready. Miu's mother, she and Kaori came and called the three to eat. While they were eating, Hajime at this time noticed he stayed here too long and started thinking of leaving, but in front of Miu's eyes, he could not say it. After eating, Miu and the girls played tag together. At the same time, Hajime sat watching the sea and making ammo. At this time, he was still looking for a way to choose words for Miu and did not notice he made by mistake a doll with a face resembling Miu. Miu's mother noticed this too, came and spoke to Hajime. Even though Hajime thought no one would notice, it seemed everyone had thought about this matter before. Maybe only Miu still had not noticed. Miu's mother at this time thanked Hajime for his care for her daughter. It was a wonderful thing that the little girl knew good people like that. Then she told him to do what he needed to do and not worry about Miu again. After she met Hajime, the little girl became a bit more mature than a little girl acting spoiled. She now learned to care for others. It seemed that Miu also understood that Hajime's group would have to leave, even though she was a bit spoiled because she was still young. The little girl never told everyone not to go. Hajime at the time knew what he needed to do. Tonight, he would talk with Miu. Tomorrow, they would leave them. The little girl was happy because she knew this. She said she would prepare a farewell party for them. Also, she exploited. She used the opportunity to laugh and tell Hajime he was her husband. Yu and her friends felt something strange, ran to ask him, and became defensive and jealous. Miu at this time returned too. Everyone enjoyed the last beautiful moments together. In the evening, Hajime spoke with Miu about his departure. The little girl cried and asked if she could see him again. Even if he was far away, he would still be Miu's papa, right? Although she was very sad, Miu tried to hold back her tears and wished Hajime a safe journey. She said when he came next time, Miu would go pick him up herself. No matter how far, she would come to him because Miu was his daughter after all. The little girl said these words smiling, and everyone smiled at this scene. Hajime told her to wait for him, and when everything was over, he would return to her. He would take her to his country to play. She agreed happily and waited obediently for him to return. The little girl asked if her mother could come too. Her mother at this time joked and said if her husband and daughter went, there was no reason for her to stay here. While the mother and daughter prepared dinner together, Hajime's group went out to enjoy the view. Everyone was surprised by his decision and thought that meeting Miu changed him a bit. She asked him what would happen if they could not use this magic freely. Hajime at this time was determined to achieve it, no matter the cost. He wanted Miu to see his country. If he failed to bring Miu, he would return here to get her. Miu at this time ran to him. The little girl came to say dinner was ready. When they heard, everyone entered. The morning after, before departure, Miu gave them a seashell as a protection charm. Hajime thanked her for the gift. The time of farewell came. Even though she wanted to cry very much, the ship started moving. In the capital at this time, Princess Liliana was escaping from the capital urgently after she saw many strange things. She felt that no one here could be trusted again. All factions were preparing their forces. The soldiers in the palace and those who kidnapped the teacher in the mountain were ready to face the challenge. Even the demon side was preparing its forces quickly. They sent soldiers heading north, ready for battle. At this time, the commander was trying to find the reason for the soullessness of the soldiers. He told his subordinates to gather the forces and investigate the reason. As for Koki's group, he himself was going to meet them. He understood they were currently unstable, although he did not want to worry them. There was no choice. He wrote 2 letters about the current state of the kingdom, one to the Lord of Ankaji and one to Hajime. At this time, Hiyama came to meet him. He said he wanted to ask for the commander's opinion on something, but he did not say anything and kept tapping his foot. In that moment, the subordinate he tasked with the investigation returned to him. When he opened the door, he was almost stabbed by his sword. Judging by the empty eyes, it appeared he was being controlled. Instead of attacking the commander, he advanced to attack Hiyama, who was sitting scared on the ground. But the commander came and blocked for him. In a moment of negligence, he was stabbed from behind by Hiyama. After the surprise attack, luckily he did not hit a vital spot, so the commander could still use magic and push all 3 away. He drew his sword and approached Hiyama, but at this time, other soldiers were covering him. He quickly finished off the soldiers, and then approached and slammed Hiyama against the wall in the corner. But the soldiers quickly got up to reinforce him. The commander at this time used magic to cause chaos, and then knocked down everyone one after another, including the vice commander. Hiyama at this time was very angry that even after all this, he still could not win. He evaluated that the commander was a monster with terrible fighting power. The commander thought Hiyama made a mistake in his estimation and won the battle, thanks to his combat experience. Hiyama at this time was very angry. He told him not to be arrogant too early. The soldiers got up one by one again. Not only that, but a large group of soldiers ran and surrounded him. To preserve his life, he was forced to escape by jumping from the window. He intended to use magic to attack anyone chasing him, but strangely, no one chased him at all. There was not even a soldier standing below. At this moment, a voice was heard. The commander looked cautiously around him. The voice was from a woman. She thought humans were annoying, and everything must come to her hand. The commander looked up and found a girl with long white hair fully equipped with armor. He felt the situation was not good, so he decided to leave everything to Hajime, because the enemy this time was a leader, and also because he hated them strongly. Inside the commander's room at this time, Hiyama and a mysterious person were present. The mysterious person lifted the 2 letters the commander left and then asked about Hiyama's condition. He said he was fine, and the biggest threat disappeared. If Shizuku did not make any move, they did not need to worry. The king and the escorts were all brainwashed. The church from the beginning was not an obstacle. Now the commander disappeared. No one could stop them. He crumpled the letters and threw them on the ground and said they must hurry so everything would collapse. After that, no one could prevent him from reaching his future. At this time, Hajime continued his journey. When they passed by the mountain, they discovered an attack by bandits surrounding a group of merchants. They noticed that their barrier started to disappear gradually. Hajime quickly went down, fired his weapons, and killed every bandit. Everyone went down quickly. Kaori ran to treat the wounded, and Hajime was cleaning the place. After the battle, suddenly a small girl approached Kaori. It was none other than Princess Liliana in disguise. Kaori recognized her from the shape of the barrier. That was why she wanted Hajime to save the people. While they were talking, Hajime approached and asked Kaori if she finished treating the wounds. Liliana was surprised when she saw him. It took a while before she recognized he was Hajime. She rejoiced because she knew he was still alive. Hajime saw this and asked who she was. Liliana was completely shocked. Kaori had to stand next to her and remind Hajime that Liliana was the princess, but Hajime still did not remember. Liliana saw this, and her heart broke greatly because no one had forgotten her until now. Hajime asked her why. She was here. She said Aiko-sensei was attacked, and this shocked Kaori severely. Hajime took her to the vehicle on the way. She told them everything, starting from the atmosphere in the palace that became suffocating for the king. The king tried to protest, but the church insisted Hajime was an enemy. After that, gradually the king also saw her as an enemy, and this made Liliana very afraid. She went to the teacher to ask for advice, but coincidentally, she saw a nun kidnapping her. Maybe the nun was not linked to this matter, or maybe she was the mastermind. She wanted to inform someone, but could not trust anyone in the palace. At this time, she thought of Kaori and Hajime. She asked the merchants to take her to the camp. On the way, Hajime, after thinking, said now they needed to save the teacher. First, because he thought she was kidnapped because of her relationship with him, and after he knew the reason, he would strike the mastermind. Liliana thanked Hajime quickly for his help. It was known that the divine mountain where the teacher was detained was also a great labyrinth. Hajime thought, what ancient magic would be there? Everyone quickly headed to the mountain. In an empty square next to it, a large magic circle activated. At this time, the teacher was thinking about what the kidnappers said. She mentioned Hajime's name unconsciously, and he replied to her. She looked at the window and found Hajime standing there. He told her to calm down so he could check for traps. Then Hajime made a second entrance and entered the cell. The teacher was surprised and asked why he came. Hajime answered quickly that he came to save her. He noticed she was not brainwashed yet. Hajime approached to remove the magic ring from her hand, but she remembered the situation was bad and got embarrassed. She asked how he knew she was kidnapped. Hajime said the princess told him she saw the teacher being kidnapped, but because she could not tell anyone in the palace, she escaped by herself and went out, looking for help. Because Hajime felt responsibility in this matter, he agreed to help even though she did not want to see him again. The teacher came to him, held Hajime's hand, and said she knew the reason he pulled the trigger and thanked him for saving her. Hajime said he did what he wanted, so she did not need to apologize. Hajime prepared to be cautious from now on because the church confirmed he was a heretic and he might face those who attacked her. At this time, Hajime noticed something in his magic. The teacher asked, and he said now. The demons were attacking the capital and the barrier was destroyed. Hajime thought he needed to meet Koki to find a way to respond. In this moment, outside, a strong light appeared. The prison and part of the tower vaporized, but luckily, Hajime carried the teacher away from there. Suddenly, a voice was heard. It was the girl who faced the commander. Liliana and Yue's group were now infiltrating the palace. It seemed everyone was still sleeping. She suggested they go to Shizuku first. Suddenly, at this moment, the window beside them broke from the seashell communication device. Tio's voice was heard suddenly. It appeared that Hajime had modified it and made it a device the team could use to communicate with each other. She quickly informed them that 1 kilometer south of the capital, a very large demon army was advancing. Even the white dragons they met at at the volcano were there, and they were the ones who destroyed the barrier. At this time, they split up without waiting. Shay and Yue were going to defeat the white dragons because they attacked Hajime before. The monster army at this time reached the city wall. Tio also arrived now. Yu and Shea ran quickly to meet her. They asked her where the white dragons were. Tio said she understood the two's feelings now, but not leaving the princess was unfortunate. At this time, Hajime called Tio and told her to come to his location because a strong enemy appeared. He needed someone to help him watch the teacher. Tio received the orders and transformed immediately into a dragon and flew. A gate opened above Yue and Shay. A beam of light struck directly down and destroyed the tower that they were standing on. The two survived quickly and dodged. The white dragons and Freed appeared. The city wall was destroyed now, and the monsters entered. Freed at this time was still provoked by Hajime's existence, but since he was not there, he shifted his focus to Yuo and Shay and opened the attack with fire breath from the white dragon. Yuo and Shay quickly used spatial magic and reflected the attack back at him. Luckily, he was able to dodge. Yuo and Shay looked at him and showed a provocative attitude. Freed got angry and ordered his army to attack Shay while he dealt with Yuo. The army led by the blonde woman advanced to attack Shay. She opened a spatial gate and made the army enter another place with her. The blonde woman at this time was annoyed with Shay and swore to kill her and then hang her corpse in front of Hajime. All this hatred was because Hajime's group killed her fiancé. This was the demon in the Orcus Labyrinth. She did not care about the matter because Hajime had already given her a chance to withdraw, and if someone wanted to live, they must kill regardless of who is being killed. It did not matter to her. She replied and asked if he ever cared about the lives of those he killed. He got angry and told her to shut up and that he would avenge his fiancé. Then he ordered the army to attack, but she dodged easily. She noticed that the opponent did not want close combat. She summoned a large stone weight tied to the end of her hammer and then swung the hammer to attack from afar. They immediately went out of her attack range without her noticing and blocked the attack. The commander tried to attack her from behind, but she counterattacked and kicked him away. But the blonde woman was also able to shoot needles into her body, causing her body to stiffen. With this level of minor problems, she was still able to recover. The blonde woman continued the attack from above, but she easily dodged everything. He was annoyed and clearly frustrated. Then she used chains to restrain the blonde woman, then swung the hammer and smashed her into the ground. Although the wound was severe, he still maintained his hateful gaze. On Yu's side at this time, the battle became more balanced as both could dodge and attack each other. Noticing the annoyance of the turtle absorbing magic, Yo summoned 5 elemental dragons and swept the monsters down. But since she consumed a large part of her magic power, Freed now had to use Age of Gods magic. After the chant, a big explosion happened, damaging both sides, and Yu and Shay had not recovered yet. Freed made the dragon attack Yu's body. Although she was wounded, she smiled. The old wounds Hajime caused before appeared again, and this injured him and the dragon together. He noticed that now he could not achieve victory. Freed withdrew. Shay returned now to gather with Yue. On this side, Hajime Anoint's battle also started. Because he needed to watch the teacher, it was very difficult for Hajime to attack. He could only try to withstand and counterattack. Noint now released a wave of fire, but Hajime blocked it with the barrier. At this time, Hajime was affected by a type of magic that weakened the opponent. Hajime asked Noint if she was comfortable treating him like this. Shouldn't she go down and enter the demon battle below? But she did not care because killing was the god's game, and it was just a coincidence that the god liked the human side in this era. Maybe the Demon King and humanity emerging were also a stroke of luck. Hajime now confirmed what the Liberator's forces recorded. Hajime said, if he was that annoying, why not return him to his old world? Noint refused because her master wanted him dead. Noint rushed to continue the attack. Hajime's shield could not withstand it and broke. Tio arrived now too. Hajime pushed Noint towards the tower. Hajime handed the teacher to Tio. She left quickly and their battle started in earnest. The teacher was now handed to Tio to take her away. Noticing her anxiety, Tio continued to reassure her and said after taking her to a safe place, she must prevent anyone trying to block Hajime's path. The teacher also expressed she wanted to help even though she never fought. Her magic power was not small. Then she drew a magic circle on her hand with blood. Noticing her determination, Tio agreed to also let her help Hajime's side. At this time, the battle was intense. Noint used fire magic to attack, and Hajime dodged in the nick of time. He was barely surprised by the opponent's great magic power and thought she used limit break. Then he emptied a magazine of bullets, but her speed was very high and he could not hit her. He switched the attack to the machine gun, but she easily blocked it. Noint now started advancing slowly towards Hajime. She cut Hajime's guns, then sped behind him and cut the rifle in half. Hajime now had to use limit break. Now he could not only see, but also block Noint's attacks. His shots became stronger because they were pushing her back. Hajime felt a strange strange feeling. Even though they had been fighting for a while, Noint's magic power did not decrease. Not leaving him time to think, she pushed again, and the battle continued. After a while, Limit Break ended. Hajime tried to withstand Noint. When he managed to step back, he used Schlagen to attack her from 4 directions. Both were wounded by this attack. Hajime quickly threw 2 teleportation rings next to the opponent, then fired shots on both sides to direct the bullets to the other side. Noint now had to defend, but her 2 swords reached the limit and broke in half. While she was still surprised, not understanding what happened, Hajime quickly bound her. He used the pile bunker to attack, and she used her wings to defend. After some resistance, 1 wing and part of her flesh were pierced. She was officially defeated and fell. Hajime had not yet enjoyed the euphoria of victory when from afar black smoke rose from an explosion. This was caused by Tio and the teacher. Quickly he went to meet them. After asking about each other's condition, Tio praised the teacher for the firepower she supplied, enough to blow up the entire church headquarters. Hajime was surprised and asked, "What did you do?" The teacher said because the church barrier was very strong, she boosted Tio's fire breath and caused an explosion that blew up the place completely. The teacher now expressed concern for those inside the church. Hajime thought they exploded too, because after all, they trusted their barrier and were surprised. Although she was mentally prepared, she could not stop her tears for the people. Tio at this time warned that someone was coming. It appeared this person was not normal at all. A priest appeared and asked the group to walk with him. Hajime, although he wanted to meet Yua, was focused on the Age of God's magic here, so he let the teacher walk with him. After walking a while, he pointed to a pile of stones, ruined. The stones flew away, and a magic circle appeared underneath. Hajime quickly entered inside. They were teleported to another room. The 3 moved quickly to the middle of the room. A magic circle appeared. Hajime advanced quickly, and knew quickly that the one who made the labyrinth was Laos. The condition of the place was to have at least 2 proofs of exploration, and must overcome any influence of the god's power. As long as these conditions were met, the proof here would appear. It seemed this labyrinth's goal was to find someone with the will to stand firm, and at this time, everyone thought to hurry because the capital was being attacked now. Hajime now said he needed to meet Yue's group first. Hours earlier, Hajime's friends group in the palace noticed something was wrong. They gathered quickly. A servant came and said the great barrier was destroyed and the demons entered here. Koki now made a plan. Quickly, he thought they needed to evacuate the people and then gather the combat forces. But when they learned the demon army had up to 100,000 soldiers, the whole group decided they needed to inform the captain first, and then gather equivalent forces, so they could fight. When they arrived, only the vice captain was there. He lied and said the captain was busy and could not appear. Then he invited Koki's group to walk forward. While they were walking, the group also noticed the strangeness of the soldiers. Shizuku thought that they should not let their guard down. Then the vice captain came to speak. He asked the group of soldiers to remove their swords, then took out a blue sphere. They noticed something wrong. Shizuku called for everyone to be on alert, but it was too late. The sphere emitted a bright light, and after the light disappeared, the group of friends collapsed under the soldiers' swords. Only Shizuku was still standing. At this moment, from the stage came a mysterious voice. The maid, who had informed everyone, suddenly pushed and stabbed Shizuku, then threw her on the ground. The owner of this voice was Eri. The group of friends now had their weapons, stripped, and were bound. Eri approached and put a collar on Koki's neck. He asked her why she did this, but she did not say anything and asked Koki instead. Eri said she wanted to own Koki for a long time. Shizuku told her if so, it would have been enough to confess. Eri said she could not do that because Koki was too kind and would not give special attention no matter how trash his classmates were. He was too kind and would not leave them. So for Koki to focus on her, she needed to wipe out the people around him first, and her revenge on this world helped her do that more easily. The soldiers became soulless like this because of her black magic, because these soldiers were already dead. For normal necromancers, they could only restore memories and thoughts of their previous lives. But because she was a necromancer, making them able to speak was very easy. Koki now advised her to stop. He would not forgive her for these things. She also intended to use black magic on Koki so he would focus on her, but just thinking about this made her very excited to prove her power. Then she used magic to control her dearest friend. She was shocked very much by Eri's transformation. She turned and said she would give Shizuku a special role. She wanted to control and make Shizuku kill Kaori. She approached Shizuku slowly, but before Eri could stab and kill Shizuku, Kaori appeared and protected her. And frustrated that Kaori ruined her plan, Eri controlled the soldiers and they attacked Kaori. The princess raised a shield to protect Kaori. A soldier appeared from behind and intended to attack them, but Hiyama appeared and took down this soldier. They noticed he was wounded. Liliana went to Hiyama, but she fainted and lost consciousness. Then he stabbed his sword into Kaori, but she had now finished the spell. Koki on this side escaped the restraints. One by one, they were freed and started resisting. Shizuku and Koki now approached Kaori's location easily, but the person he wanted to face the least appeared. The captain was also controlled. He asked Koki to save him, but he stopped before stabbing him. Before the spell finished, Hajime, the teacher, and Tio arrived and cut off the path. They noticed Kaori was in critical condition. Hajime approached and knocked Hiyama away. He checked Kaori's condition, then handed her to Tio for treatment. Hajime angrily approached Eri's location. She continued to retreat and provoke Hajime and said she would return Kaori. Later, a snake attacked Hajime from behind, but it had no effect on Hajime at all. Eri now sent the captain to battle. Hajime blocked the sword easily and showed pity for him. He noticed the captain's request. Hajime took out his gun and shot him. The captain smiled with satisfaction and closed his eyes. Hajime took out the machine gun and fired, and took down all the controlled soldiers. He approached Eri, aiming the gun at her. Before pulling the trigger, Hiyama rushed in. Hajime easily pressed his head down, then grabbed him by his neck. Hiyama said angrily that if Hajime didn't exist, she would have been as long ago. Hajime told him not to blame others when he was the one who was rotten. Then Hajime kicked Hiyama out where monsters were waiting. A pillar of light descended now, but Hajime blocked it. Kaori's soul was now stabilized, but she still needed more time to recover fully. Freed arrived now. He told Hajime to surrender when the monster army surrounded them. He thought no matter how talented Hajime was, he could not fight and protect everyone. Hajime, without a word, brought out the sphere. A red beam descended and swept away all monsters in the capital. Hajime said he didn't care about the war or not, but if anyone tried to stop him, he would wipe out everything. Freed was annoyed and swore to take revenge, then left the place with Eri. Yue and Shea gathered here now. Hajime told them to take Kaori to the summit together. Then he asked Tio to clear the path. Hajime approached now the place of Shizuku, who was breaking down. He told her to trust them and wait obediently while his team saved Kaori. She asked if she could trust him. Hajime nodded in agreement. The next morning, Princess Liliana was reviewing the situation, the invasion the demons made with the help of Eri, the necromancer. She had left a message in the corpse of the female demon, and from there, she made a deal with them. Then, she promised to lead them to the capital, kill people from the other world, and offer the night squad to the demons in exchange for her freedom with Kuki. And she did not kill all the classmates because of the restrictions during using black magic. The result of the battle was that the invasion failed, and Eri escaped with the demons. Manipulating the king and ministers was not linked to Eri only, but also possibly linked to the nun who kidnapped the teacher. Now the nun's location was still unknown, and they needed to gather more information. Then she went to the memorial to weep for those who died in the battle, but especially Kaori's name was among them. The church temple on the mountain. Yue, Shea, and Tio were with Kaori. Hajime now arrived here. He asked about the teacher and learned she was resting, but just because of fatigue. Yue told him to go to the teacher because Kaori here was still fine, and he approached her now. Hajime told her not to smile at him because he killed her beloved student, even though she knew what Hiyama did was bad. If possible, she still wanted him to live and repent for his sins. She also understood Hajime's anger, so she had no right to blame him. Hajime told her not to bear all the worry herself. He told her from now on to continue being a teacher and listen to the students' selfish requests. The teacher now could not hold back her tears. Hajime bent down for her to cry on his back. Hajime's friends group now finished their mourning. More than 5 days passed, but still no news about Kaori. This made Shizuku very nervous. She was looking at the sky, constantly waiting for Hajime's group to return. Koki did not think he could trust Hajime's group, but before he finished his words, Hajime and his companions flew from the sky. Shizuku rejoiced when she saw his group returned, but Kaori was not there. She asked about that. Hajime said Kaori would arrive soon, but she changed a bit, so he asked Shizuku not to get angry. Kaori now fell from the sky. She asked Hajime to catch her, but he walked away violent. Koki, when he saw the stranger, became cautious. Shizuku recognized her. The two hugged and gathered in tears. Hajime explained he used magic to transfer Kaori's soul to Noit's body after retrieval. When they saw everyone did not understand what was happening, Shizuku explained they learned magic to be able to interfere with souls. As for Kaori's old body, it was fully healed, but she refused to return because she wanted to be stronger. She used this body, and the current body was kept frozen so she could return at any X time. Shizuku thanked Hajime for saving Kaori. He told her not to worry because he just saved a classmate. Shizuku thought he still cared about them, so she gave him medicine to remove the poison from Koki. He made an excuse and said he did not want to make the teacher upset. Hajime now told everyone they were just pawns in the hands of the gods. Koki blamed him that he did not say it earlier, but Hajime thought, even if he said it earlier, Koki might not believe him, and also partly because Hajime did not want to fight for this world. He did not want to waste effort on people he did not know. Koki thought Hajime must help them because he was very strong. Hajime thought the reason he failed all the time was this thinking, and that his mentality was very weak. That night, Yue and he were having dinner and she spoke to him. She asked him if he would feel good if they parted ways like this. Hajime thought he would be completely fine with that. At this moment, the whole class entered. Shizuku asked about Hajime's next plans. Would he continue to the Great Labyrinths, or what? Hajime said next he would complete the Great Labyrinth in Haltina in the east. Liliana said she wanted to come with them because she knew they would pass through the Empire. She had things she wanted to discuss with them after this invasion. Hajime said she could come with them normally, but they would not stay to discuss. Koki also said he wanted to come with them. He was not reassured leaving Liliana to go with the group, so he would follow to accompany her. Also, he wanted to obtain the ancient magic to save this world. Hajime refused to allow him to come with them. He said he would show them the place, and they could go take it themselves. Shizuku now spoke, and everyone asked for help from him. Hajime smiled with interest. He said they would leave at dawn, so do not be late. Everyone rejoiced and thanked Hajime. She asked if this would be okay. Hajime said even though they would be just a burden, they could use their strength. Everyone agreed and said he was very smart. Kaori now still did not understand anything. Yue said he planned to use them as bait and human shields. Then they spent the evening together. Tio now wanted Hajime to reward her for carrying the teacher. She wanted him to torture her like the first time he met her. She noticed everyone started criticizing her. Hajime took out a stick and said he improved it and made it heavier and harder than before. She noticed something was wrong. She said she was just joking, but the joke was not funny. Hajime lost his temper, and no one knows what happened after that. Early this morning, Hajime and Yue watched the sunrise together. Everyone now also woke up and gathered with the group. The time for departure came, and Koki's group also arrived, and thus ends our story today. So, before we end our story, do not forget to like, share, and comment on the video, because that is then what encourages us to continue. And if you are new to our channel, subscribe and activate the bell button to receive everything new. See you well. Goodbye.